Hey everybody, good morning. Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome through, welcome in, welcome back, welcome through, welcome to, welcome in, welcome around, welcome at the Apostate Ape Debate channel. This is the channel where you can watch an undereducated hick from Alabama perform an intellectual takedown of the Christian faith, doctrine, and logic for your entertainment. And also to make the world a better place. Because the world sucks a lot more with Christian nationalism in there. And right now, that's a popular thing amongst, the control savvy, those who wish to control other people. Some people call them oppressors. I don't know what everybody calls them. I can't speak for everybody. I do call them oppressors too, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is what we do here. This is the greatest of the great 8 master debate channel. I'll master debate anybody who wants to step up here and have a master debate with me. Be like a big circle of master debating. This is where it happens, y'all. And as usual, if you are watching this as a replay on my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Share it out. It helps a whole lot growing that side. And hopefully here before long I will actually have somebody help me figure out, I should say, how to actually utilize both streams. At the same time. Do both is what I want to do, but I don't know how. Seems quite complicated. Anyway, as usual, also, the best friend of this channel is Dr. Joshua Bowen. He has written a book that you can acquire yourself on Amazon for $29.95. You can learn to read Ancient Hebrew, Volume 1. This is a volume for complete beginners. Complete beginners. This means you don't have to know shit about it to learn Hebrew, in fact. It's pretty cool, isn't it? What's that say? But you can master debate with these still. Pick a time, have some sort of topic. Sometimes it's just fun to master debate for the sake of master debating, even if you're by yourselves. Anyway, guys. Also, don't forget, Rocket City Reason Conference is going down. Stop laughing at that. What's wrong with y'all? Come on. Apes are supposed to act better than this, y'all. Anyway, Rocket City Reason Conference is going down in Huntsville, Alabama this October. The 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. And thank you so much. And you can come hang out with the coolest motherfuckers that ever lived. The greatest atheist master debaters of all time. The best master debaters that YouTube has to offer. Thinker's going to be there. Seth Andrews is a keynote speaker. Forrest Valkai, Gutsit Gibbon, the Godless Engineer. It's his show. He's putting it on. And you can come and master debate with us. Although there probably won't be a whole lot of master debate in there. Just, the regular stuff. Just, be like an inside master debating. Anyway, welcome in, welcome through. This is that channel. This is the channel that Time Magazine raves is the most powerful and fastest growing debate platform of the 21st century. Welcome in, welcome in. Cosmo says this is the most intellectual platform that has ever existed. That's right. Field and Stream says we are hunting down the population of Christians and extincting them with logic. And that's pretty cool. So, welcome. Join us today on this magical journey that we take every day and have taken for 89 days in a row now. That's right. Tomorrow will be 90 days in a row I've been doing this. And, that's 3 fucking months. That's a long time, man. So anyway, undoubtedly, like always, we will definitely get some good conversations with the Christians in here today, I'm sure. We got some cool topics up here, even though apparently I left out a number 3 right there. That'll be all right. I'm sure people will understand and not come down too hard on me for such. Anyway, all right. Let's see if we got a few people in the queue already. Oh, we got one person in the queue. All right. Let's bring up Mr. Darrell here. Maybe he's a opposition there, or maybe not. Might not even be here anymore. Might have been accidents. Yeah. Ah. Anyway, discarding the number 3. Today we have, how can the Bible be true? We're posing these in question forms today. Why is God unjust? Supposed to be a number 3 there. And then the Bible condones slavery. And what makes Jesus the Messiah? Hopefully, we will have some good old debates in here. Maybe some Christians can come up if they want to talk about one of these topics here. And that'll be just cool. That'll be just fine. We've only been on for 5 minutes at this point. So I guess we'll have to wait for someone to load in here. Guys, thanks so much for all the engagement already. Goodness gracious, we're already up to almost 3,000 likes. In 5 minutes, y'all tapping the shit out of that screen. Why does it matter to you if you don't believe? Because I live in a country that hosts a whole lot of believers, and they're like, they think conquering people's cool again, like manifesting destiny and shit. And they think, the Bible's all literal, so that means like you can own slaves and beat them and shit, which is what they want to do, because that's what unfortunately a lot of Christians like to do. They like to be the oppressor and use the Bible to oppress people, and I don't like that at all. So in a country I live in that is thinks conquering people's cool again, I do this channel, and that's why it matters to me, even if I don't believe it, because about 2 billion of y'all mofos do. So we're here to do our best to try and talk to some sense into you and such. Yeah. So anyway, if you are a Christian and you want to come up and talk about one of these topics here, debate or conversate, please do. We would like to talk to you. Until then, I guess we will just sit here and chill for a while. Yeah, it's only been a few minutes. It takes a few minutes to get the algorithm flow in there. It's not moving near as fast as it used to when I started the shows. I don't know why still. Anyway, we've still been having really good shows the last few days. It's been putting us on some folks to talk to, hasn't it? Is your channel to promote people to walk in love? Yeah. Trying to foster some understanding between humans. Like I don't think it's cool that humans like want to own other people's property again. Like we made that illegal in this country, and like that should be out there. You're not supposed to be conquering other people. That's not nice. We don't like doing that. The whole oppression and control thing's getting pretty out of hand again. But how to heal the nations. I don't know what that means. Why did we leave the World Health Organization? Is that what you mean? I don't know. I don't know there. Dr. Josh, good morning, my friend. Dr. Josh, there he is, the best friend of the channel. He graces us with his presence quite frequently, and it's pretty awesome. Because we love the Scholar Bros. We love the Scholar Bros. Yeah, that's what I think peace is, actually, like treating people good and, the absence of violence and war. Unfortunately, Christians these days seem to like the exact opposite of that. They like a whole bunch of war. They'll splash a little holy water on a bomb and then send it over to Yemen or Iran or something and call that peace, and that's pretty fucked up to anybody with half a twit and a conscience. They know better than that shit. Should know better anyway, I suppose. Thank you for the follow. Where did we get to? Yep. Anyway, don't hold too much against me that I forgot the 3 today, y'all. But if you are a Christian, The show is just now started. We have hit 10 minutes. There's almost 40 people here already, so we are ready to go. Good morning, Durango. How are you? Hello, everyone. What up? What is going on? Howdy. Ni hao. You know, stuff like that. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good one so far. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for this show again. And we do this craziness every morning, every single morning. Today is number 89 in a row. 89 in a row, man. Yeah. Somebody said Kel gave a bad argument. Guess I didn't see that. No, I'm not here to be kind. I'm here to convince people this ridiculous belief system is dangerous, illogical, and it should be dropped. It's not about being nice. I try to do it in a nice manner, but I mean, how nicely can you tell somebody everything they hold sacred is a bunch of bullshit? Dangerous rhetoric from Iron Age, Bronze Age mythologies. I mean, you can say it as nice as you can in a nice little voice, but most people's not going to take that too well. You know. Then again, not everybody's snowflakes either, so some people can actually discuss these things like a grown-ass adult. Oh, let's see what this motherfucker.
Hello.
Affordable Pest Control, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? What you want to talk about with us today?
Well, you know, what you open-endedly proposed to convert with a former Christian. How, one, can the Bible be true? Two, why is God unjust?
I forgot the three.
And the Bible condones slavery, or what makes Jesus the Messiah. So I want to debate all those topics with you, sir.
Okay. Which one you want to start with?
Let's start right at the top. How can the Bible be true?
Sure. How can it be true?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, because you're a former Christian doesn't make you an authority. You tried it and you concluded.
This ain't about me. This is about the Bible being true. If you could stick to that, that would be great. Thank you.
The Bible is true because God is sovereign. So we first have to conclude whether or not God exists, because I think that's the underlying cause of why you don't believe any of it, right?
Yeah, sure. So why does God exist?
So God exists because reality has an identity. For reality to exist at all, it has to have an identity.
Does it have like an ID I can look at?
Or? If God is true, okay, it's his sandbox. He makes the rules up. We can only play with the cards that are being dealt. If he chooses to be silent, I cannot magically force him to appear to you. But what I can say is reality has an identity, and I peel back the layers of the onion. Okay, I look at reality, and I walk back into the arms of a higher power, okay, an intelligent designer.
Yeah, that's Marduk, right?
That's what?
Marduk, the true creator of the universe.
Well, I call him Yahweh. You call him whatever it is you said. What I'm saying is the order of the cosmos demands an intelligent mind. It's impossible for me to look at a painting if I walk into an art gallery and conclude that painting was randomly put together by the order of matter, science. It just randomly appeared. I believe that an intelligent designer thought about it and made each stroke to force those paints, those colors, that matter to look a certain way.
Okay, well, what does that have to do with the Bible?
Well, like I said, we've got to walk it back. If there is no intelligent designer, then the Bible is not worth talking about. So the first thing I wanted to do is whether or not there is an intelligent designer. Okay. if we can
No, there's
conclude,
not.
okay, so that's my first mission, is to prove to you that there is an intelligent designer, that all of this did not happen by random chance.
Okay.
Okay. So when I conclude, if I walk into an art gallery, my mind logically has to conclude that there is a painter, there is a designer, and I look for it on the painting itself. I look for a name scribed somewhere. Okay. So I walk that back. I peel back the layers of the onion. Well, then, if a intelligent designer painted that painting, then who made that painter? Who made the painting? And I keep walking it back. Okay. And I conclude that an intelligent designer made the painter, because reality has to
Yeah,
have
maybe I
an
could just
image.
save us some time, and I'll grant you that, so we can get to the Bible.
Okay. So there's an
There's an
intelligent
intelligent designer
designer.
out there. Let's make the Bible true. Yeah.
Okay, so there's an intelligent designer. Now, what is said about the Bible is that it's 66 books. Okay, in my Bible, there's 66 books, and there's a number of different authors, okay, in different geographical locations, in different uh, lands, okay, different perspectives, all conclude one thing, is that there's an intelligent designer. Different time frames that the Bible was written in. Okay, different authors. Okay, so they're all concluding one thing, is that there's an intelligent designer that put this all together. So that's the first reason I believe that the Bible is factually true, because I don't believe you have 66 different books in a number of different authors in different time frames, different geographical locations, all concluding one thing, is that there's an intelligent designer who factually all basically conclude one thing, is that the Bible does
That
not
there's an intelligent designer.
no, that the Bible doesn't contradict itself
Oh,
on what it's saying.
oh, it does that a bunch.
Well, that's your perception. Okay, you have a perception. I have a perception. I don't conclude that.
Have you read it?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, I've read it too, and I saw a whole bunch of contradictions in there. Like one
Right.
says one thing and one
Exactly.
says something else. They
You're
can't both be
100%
true.
right.
That means one of them is factually wrong. Yeah.
No, what it concludes is there's an apparent contradiction. Okay. It appears as though there's a contradiction. But what one does not understand is that when one does a little more digging into the original languages, the Oriental customs, figures of speech that it was written in that time and that culture, it does not
Mhm.
contradict itself when it's read in its proper context of what it's saying. In other words, I don't cherry pick verses and say, "Oh, this contradicts this." See, I don't do that, because I'm intelligent. If I'm literally trying to disprove something, I'll make those broad-based assumptions.
Okay.
But see, I studied
So
the Bible.
so if I show you a contradiction, you can explain to us why contextually it's not a contradiction.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Let's do that real quick. Let me get to. Let's see. Let us turn to Numbers 23, verse 19. God is not a human being that he should lie, or a mortal that he should change his mind. So, contextually, would you say that verse there is proclaiming that God is not a mortal who changes his mind like mortals?
Absolutely.
So that one's straightforward, right? God don't change his mind.
Straightforward.
Straightforward. I hear you. Perfect.
You're on the money.
Perfect. 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 All right. Exodus 32, verse 14 says, "And the Lord changed his mind about the disaster that he planned to bring on his people."
Well, what you're referring to, and this is what most people fail at, is you're referring to one portion of scripture that's uh, It's in its context in that verse. Okay. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to back up and read, say, 10 verses prior, 10 verses after, and understand what specifically is God saying. In other words, I think you would agree with me that when you say something, if you say, make a statement, okay, can it be taken out of context if enough people gets a hold of it?
Sure.
Okay, so that's what's happening here. It's just being taken out of context. So when you read Exodus,
So what's out of context?
okay, so when you read Exodus and God is making a blanket statement about his character, that he's not changeable like man is changeable. So then what you got to do is you got to sit back and take a moment and take a deep breath, because we hyperventilate as people. And we want to say, oh, see, he said that, you know. But what I'm after is, what is God's underlying motive? I empathize with God. Why is he saying that?
So you don't think
Wait
God's
a minute,
changing his
let me
mind here
finish.
in Exodus
Then I
32?
turn to the next
Well, you've been
portion
talking
of-
quite a while.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So are you saying he doesn't change his mind here in
He
Exodus
doesn't
32?
change his mind. It's just taken out of context is all I'm telling you. I can guarantee
So when it
you
says
that's
the
true.
Lord changed his mind about the disaster that he planned to bring on his people, what does that actually mean? What's the actual context there?
The actual context, you cherry picked one verse that you wanted to hear that, which sounds like a contradiction, and you drew a conclusion out of that. What I'm saying is I never prejudge somebody's statements based on one sentence. I never do that. I always give.
Well,
the
you can
person
tell
the
us
benefit of the doubt.
what it actually means. I'm not asking you to tell me what the
Okay,
sentence
look,
means.
I don't have
just
my
want-
Bible in
Tell
front
us
of me,
why
right?
this isn't.
Yeah, I don't have my Bible here in front of me, and I don't have a photographic memory, but I can venture to say if we scale back about let's just go 5 verses, and it's read in its context, its proper context of what is going on. Why would God say that? Okay. Then I think it would come
Yeah,
to
he found
light.
them worshiping an idol. And he was going to unalive them all. But Moses says, that's a bad idea, God. You shouldn't do this. And God's like, yeah,
There
you're
you
right.
are.
So he changes his mind. Yeah. Yeah, he changed his mind.
Okay. But what I'm
He was
saying,
going to do something, then he decided not to.
Let's put it side by side with the other verse. Okay.
Okay.
And read in its proper context, why did God say he does not change his mind? What he's saying is he's saying he doesn't change his mind as man changes his mind. In other words, at every whim, at every feeling, out of every emotion, man can change his mind based on feelings. Okay, so that's what's taken out of context, is you're not understanding the scripture in light of what is God really trying to say.
Well, that's why I asked you beforehand if you agree with me contextually. This is saying God does not change his mind. And you said yes.
True.
But now there seems to be some more context.
Well, it's in light of what does he, how does he not change his mind? Okay, that's what you're not getting. You're not empathizing.
This says he does not change his mind. And that's why I asked you beforehand. I said, are we in agreement here that God doesn't change his mind? And your answer was yes, if you recall.
You just read part of a verse. Read the whole verse.
Okay, well, what needs to change now that when I read the whole verse?
Because, again, when you say something and you make a statement, and I only hear part of your statement,
yeah, but you agreed
I don't
with
draw
me.
a conclusion on that. I don't draw a conclusion on your character based on.
You said yes when I asked you the question.
Wait a minute. I said yes to the fact that God is not changeable like man, because that's what he's
doesn't
really
change
doing.
His mind. That's why I was really
He
clear
doesn't
about
change
that
his
when I asked you
mind.
beforehand.
Does God have a mind? No, it's condescension. God is condescending down to the level of man. He's using human attributes.
He's condescending.
Yeah, he's taking his who he is, and he's trying to put it in the context of human attributes. So what I'm saying, God does not have a mind like we have a mind. Okay, so what is being said is, generally speaking, God does not change his form of thinking like man changes his form of thinking. Okay, when it's read
Like change
in
his
its
mind?
proper context.
Yeah, it says he has promised, and will he not do it? He has spoken, and will he not fulfill it? This is
Exactly.
saying if
Exactly.
God says he's going to do something, he does it.
Yep.
He doesn't change his mind.
Exactly.
Yep.
But
Exactly. So he
what does
changes
it
his
say? You
mind
got to
in
keep reading.
Exodus
See,
32, clearly.
You're leaving a cliffhanger, sir. You got to read the whole
I?
thing. You got to read
Let's
all of
do
it.
that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
all ears.
what's going to change from the context if I keep reading here?
What's going to change is, like I just said to you, is what is the primary verse you were relying on was that God does not, in comparison, change his mind like man changes his mind. Okay, that's
No,
this
the says whole... he doesn't change his mind.
No, keep reading.
It doesn't say he doesn't change his mind like men do. It says he doesn't change his mind like a mortal does.
There you go. See, look, we can dance around the truth all day
this is
long.
What you agreed to when we first started.
Well, we can dance around the truth all day long, but look, we're going to come to one conclusion: is that you're reading it out of context. Just similar to if I overheard you.
What did you? Why did you agree with me when I originally asked you about it then?
Because that is his character. That's his nature, is not to be interchangeable quickly like man.
So, yeah, that's what I made clear that you agreed to it first, and then when immediately I read the second verse, and then you seem to have been changing your mind about what you originally agreed with me on.
When you look at any manuscript, which there are no originals, when you look at a manuscript, there is no commas, there's no punctuation, okay? There's no paragraphs. It's all one read. So when you're reading something, you're reading a quote unquote verse, and you're drawing a conclusion on a verse. You can't do that, is what I'm saying. Any more than I can listen to the last part of a sentence you were saying. I came in the room at the latter part of your conversation and then drew a conclusion as to the whole part of your conversation. I can't do that.
Okay.
And most of the misconceptions drawn about the Bible is just that. People jump to conclusions. Okay, they don't want to really know and understand God. They want to nitpick and cherry pick.
All right, how about this verse here? This is from 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 29. It says, "Moreover, the glory of Israel will not deceive or change his mind, for he is not immortal, that he should change his mind." Is that a little more clear?
Yeah, exactly. Now, can we both conclude that God does not have a physical mind?
No.
Does God have a physical mind? No, he's condescending.
He did in the Garden of Eden. He had 2 physical feet he was walking around with. I can only assume he had a brain in the head he was talking with.
Well, he's made in the image and likeness of man. Okay, but it doesn't mean he has to have a tangible mind. He doesn't have a tangible, like matter, like in our skull we have matter called a brain. God does not have that. He's condescending down to the level of man to try to draw an analogy. Okay, so let's read it again and in that context.
All right. So, moreover, the glory of Israel will not deceive or change his mind, for he is not immortal that he should change his mind. So this is saying God does not change his mind.
That he is not a mortal, that he is, see, you got to read it. You got to read each word.
For he is not a mortal.
He is not a mortal.
For he is not a mortal that he should change his mind.
He is drawing a comparison, a contrast between mortal and himself. Again,
no, it's saying he doesn't change his mind at all is what it means. That's the context.
No, you're drawing that conclusion.
Yeah. This is what you originally agreed with me. I already asked you this and you agreed. So you're changing your mind like a mortal.
You read something and you just quickly jump to a conclusion. You got to read each word.
Moreover, the glory of Israel will not deceive or change his mind.
Stop. Full stop.
Will not deceive or change his mind.
Let's take it in piece parts. So what he's doing is he's drawing a contrast between spirit, which is himself, and mortals. Okay, that's what you should gather from that. Okay, keep reading.
Okay. All right. The glory of Israel will not deceive or change his mind. It's saying he will not change his mind.
Okay, you're drawing a conclusion again. Keep reading, I said.
Okay.
Keep
Moreover, the glory of Israel will not deceive or change his mind, for he is not a mortal that he should
There you
change his
go.
mind.
See, that's what you leave out every time, sir. I love you.
I've read it like 6 times.
Right,
now.
right. He's drawing a comparison, sir.
It's weird I've left it out. When I've read it
He's
6
drawing a
times in row
comparison.
now.
Do you agree that if you read the manuscripts, there's no period? You're leaving out that a period. And you're drawing a conclusion off of that one little line. You got to read it in its full context. You got to give God the benefit of the doubt as you would want the benefit of the doubt.
Well, what would you say if we had like a Hebrew expert up here?
Listen, 99% of the Bible is drawn to its conclusion in the verse, in the context, or in the comparison of like verses throughout the scripture. Okay. But the majority of the time it's interpreted in its verse. Okay.
Can I just affordable, can I just get clarification? I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. It sounds like what you're saying is that, like in Numbers 23:19, when it says God is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent, that what he's saying is that he may change his mind, but it won't be in the way that men change their mind. It'll be different. Is that what you're saying?
It's not what I'm saying. It's what the context of that verse says. When you read it in its context, the context of that verse.
Sorry, just to be, it's okay. Yes, that's what you're saying.
That's what the
so
verse
can
says.
God, can God lie?
God cannot lie.
Okay, if you're saying that he can change his mind, but just not like men, then you'd have to say in Numbers 23:19 that God can lie. He just won't lie like men will.
Well, that's a conclusion you're drawing from that. I would not draw that conclusion.
Well, I know you wouldn't. That's why I brought it up.
It doesn't. No, you're drawing an inference. Okay, and
you
that's
fine. Read it to you? Do you want me to read it to you? Or?
Sure.
Okay. So the text says, God is not a man that he should lie. Right. And he is not a human that he should change his mind.
Correct.
So what's the symmetry breaker between those two lines that are in parallel with one another?
It could be inferred that both his ability to not lie and not change his mind are one and the same. It can be inferred that. Okay, I'm going to grant you that. But it doesn't say that specifically.
I'm waiting for you to say what it says specifically.
What it says specifically is it's drawing a contrast between spirit and mortality on both subjects. But it doesn't say specifically that God does change his mind. Okay. And it doesn't say that he does lie or doesn't lie. It's just saying there's a contrast. I don't lie. Man does lie. Man does change his mind. I don't change my mind.
Yes, precisely.
That's what we agreed to at the start, I thought.
Right. But then you drew another scripture in there.
No.
Yeah, from Exodus.
Sorry, I just want to make sure before we leave this. It sounds like what you're saying is that the parallel construction here, right, in Numbers 23:19, should be understood to say humans lie, but not God. Humans change their mind, but not God.
No, that's not what it says.
What's the symmetry breaker?
What it says is in like manner.
And it doesn't say anything about like manner.
Well, I'm telling you that when it's read in its context, that's what it's saying.
I don't even know what that means. What context helps elucidate 23:19? No. Listen to my question.
Yeah,
what context? Yeah. What context of Numbers 23:19 elucidates this?
I went through that with this gentleman prior. Did you not hear?
You absolutely didn't. I've been listening.
All right, then let's do it all over again for this gentleman, sir. I don't have my Bible, or I would read it for you. I apologize.
It's okay. You mean to
Okay.
read it again? Okay. So I'll try to do it a little more woodenly from the Hebrew so that you can kind of get a feel for what the parallel structure is.
Go ahead.
The text says, Lo ish el, right? So not a man is God,
Got it.
right?
Yep.
V'chasev, which, and the vav there is like meaning, it's older poetic text, but that is a good way to translate vav there. He should lie, because vav there is like to tell falsehoods, right? So God is not a man with the result that he would lie, right? Then the next parallel line, this is a poetic text, this is structured parallelism, and or the son of man, or a son of man, Ben Adam, same construction. The apocompation here is lo and ale are not put in there, so not and God are assumed into the second line. V'yit Nacham, which Hippile form of Nacham, so that he should change his mind, repent, whatever. So where is the like or as or this thing that you're saying that humans do this, but God doesn't do it in the same way? That's what I'm looking for. He does it, but not in the same way. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. So contrast. So that's the number one word that I think that needs to predominate in this discussion. Contrast.
Agreed.
Okay. So contrast is so let's go one slow step at a time. Man, if you look at man and how he or she makes decisions, they're interchangeable based on facts, emotion, feelings, somebody else's interpretation. Whereas God, in contrast, is steadfast because he's God. He doesn't change his mind based on none of those emotions.
Sorry, you're inserting into here. He will change his mind, but just not in the same way that men do. That's what I'm challenging you on. Show me that in the text.
Sir.
Yeah, right. I know. And we're pushing back on you because you're inserting that into this verse.
No, I'm not. I'm not inserting it, because when you read the verse, as you just did, we both agreed that we're dealing with one word. We're dealing with contrast.
Yes.
God is saying that in contrast between himself and humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we both agreed on that. So all I'm saying is man changes his mind more frequently.
It doesn't say anything about that in the text.
No, I'm drawing that conclusion.
Well, that's fine, but you have to justify that conclusion.
I will. I mean, look at humanity. I mean, my God. I mean, let's both.
Sorry, I mean in the text.
Conversation.
I mean in the text, and I mean from your head.
Okay. Well, wait. Slow down. Does mankind traditionally, just look at mankind from as far back as we can recollect till now, does mankind, when you study history, change his mind more readily based on emotions?
Irrelevant as to why.
It's not, because it's a fact. I'm just wanting fact.
Yeah, that's fine. Irrelevant to this verse.
It's not. It's not,
it
because
totally
I'm going to
is.
prove my point. I'm going to prove my point. When you look at humanity, I'm going to insert it in there for you, since you can't come to that conclusion. Humanity changes his mind based on feelings.
Okay, fine. I'm going to grant it to you that humanity bases it, they're changing about. So that means that if we're going to insert it in the second part of the verse, we got to insert it in the first part. right?
Okay.
So mankind lies because they get scared or because they don't want to get in trouble or because they want to get up on somebody else. God doesn't do it
Because they're
for
wrathful or
that
jealous.
reason. He lies for different reasons, right?
Wait a minute. Whoa. See, there you go. You're jumping to conclusions again. Let's study the word lie for a moment. Let's just take it apart and analyze it. Lying.
Sure. What's the Hebrew word?
The definition of lying
No. I want the Hebrew
is
word.
an intentional act. Okay, so if we're in a court of law and I said you lied, okay, that means you had prior knowledge of the facts and you chose to deceive based upon the fact that you knew the fact. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how man operates. So the contrast is man chooses to deceive once all the facts are laid out. So in contrast to that, what God is saying is, I don't lie when I know all the facts. Okay, so
Is there a time that God doesn't know all the
gentlemen,
facts?
the key word
Hey,
here, gentlemen,
sir, does God, is there ever a time? Hey, sir, affordable.
Yes,
I know you're
yes.
nervous.
No,
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
So,
I'm all ears.
yeah, okay, great. So is there a time that God doesn't know all the facts according to your lights?
Exactly. You just proved my point. God does, so he doesn't lie.
Okay, so he doesn't lie. So this like blows apart your idea.
No, it doesn't.
That
It
does.
absolutely doesn't.
If these two, yeah, okay. If these two cola, right, in this bicola construction are parallel to one another, right? And the text is saying, man does this, God, by contrast, doesn't do this. Man does this,
Right.
God, by contrast, doesn't do this.
Exactly.
Right?
Now
Okay.
you're getting it.
So wait a minute. I don't think you're getting it. You're then saying, well, in part 2 of that bicola construction, God does do that sometimes, but for different reasons.
No.
And so what I'm saying is, if that's the case,
that's a conclusion.
That's the conclusion that, sir, that's the conclusion that you're drawing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so then we agree. Then we agree. Listen, affordable. We agree that according to Numbers 23:19, God does not ever lie, right? And God does not ever change his mind.
No.
Okay, so you did draw that conclusion. So you did draw that conclusion.
No, I did not.
Sir, you can't have it both ways.
I can't.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Here we go. Does God ever lie?
No.
Does God ever change his mind?
See, I don't agree that you're trying to box me in the conversation, and I'm not going to do that.
I know you're not.
Because you're not reading it.
You'll lose if you do.
You're not reading it in its context again.
Okay.
You're trying to draw
you keep saying that, but you don't do anything with it, right? You just say, no, you have to do better. You have to understand it differently.
In its context, sir.
Yeah, I got you.
You got to study it in its context.
That's great. So I just want you to deal with this verse, right, as it stands. It doesn't say anything about
yes, it does.
Manner.
Yes, it does.
No,
you read it. You forgot it. You're crashing. You read it, but then you denied it. You denied what you just read then.
I think if either of us is denying what they've said, good sir, it's you.
I said,
you've done it about 4 times now.
You denied what you just read.
Do you want me to have you do it again?
Go ahead.
Okay. So when the text says in Numbers 23:19, God is not a man, therefore he doesn't lie, right? You agree with that?
You just stopped. See the problem, sir? You got to keep reading, continue. Sir.
I will. I just want you to go piece by piece here.
No. You don't get the cherry
affordable.
pick.
You're doing really good today. Affordable. Don't crash out yet, man. We're actually having a good conversation.
All right.
I'll read the whole thing for you.
There
you
go.
So,
read it all.
Yeah.
Well, I have about 6 times now. Poor guy. God is not.
It's crazy. Go ahead.
It's okay. Don't crash out, big guy.
I know.
Listen,
go ahead.
God is not a man, therefore he will not lie.
Right.
God is not a human, therefore he will not change his mind.
Yep. Keep going.
Sorry, you want me to read more?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has promised, and will he not do it? He has spoken, and will he not fulfill it?
Okay. So what you're leaving out is the contrast that God is drawing between spirit and human beings made of matter.
How am I leaving that out if I read the verse to you verbatim?
Because you're concluding one thing is that God does not lie, but you're leaving out the fact of the contrast, the inference that he's drawing between himself and man. So
You're
what
not
I'm
a
saying
troll, are
is
you?
man changes on a whim.
He's
God does
not.
not
He's not.
change on a whim. So
No, it
it
doesn't
doesn't
say
mean he
anything
doesn't
about a whim, sir.
change.
It doesn't
It
say anything
doesn't
about a
mean he
whim.
doesn't change.
It
It, it,
just
it means
says,
he doesn't
hey,
change
hey,
like man
affordable. It
changes.
just, no, it doesn't mean that. And it doesn't say that.
Yeah,
Right?
it does, but
It,
you don't
no,
like it. It
it
doesn't fit
absolutely,
your
They
narrative,
don't.
sir.
sure. Show me
They don't.
that.
You've
The
already
use
said
of,
you're
yeah,
adding to it.
It doesn't
yeah,
fit your
show me
atheistic
affordable. Hey,
narrative.
affordable. Hey, affordable.
Yes,
Can
go
you
ahead.
show me places where the word low is used that way?
I did not come prepared to do a complete Bible thesis study on that portion of Scripture. No, I did not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But what
Okay.
I'm saying is we can both use our brains and conclude that God is drawing an inference, a
If
contrast.
that's the case, yeah, this is where you're missing this, right?
Go ahead.
Let's assume for a second that
Okay.
low is used that way. And that
Okay.
how we should understand low, the Hebrew word for no or not, is that he doesn't do it in the way that humans do it,
Correct.
right? Because that's what you're arguing. Okay.
Yes.
If that's the case, affordable, what's good for the goose is good for the gander in this line, because it says low before both of them. He won't lie like humans lie, but he will
Right.
lie, but just not like humans. And he won't change his mind like humans. He'll just he'll do it, but not like humans do it.
Okay. So let's like I just broke down for you the definition of lie. Okay. So lie in our practical terms is intentional. Okay, would you agree with me on that?
Like the English meaning of the word lie.
Yes. To
Why?
lie, one
Why
has
would
to
we?
have
Why would we? What?
intentionality.
Hey, sir. Why would we go to the English word lie?
Because I'm trying to establish some sort of common ground with you on that word. Okay, because you're using a word. So I'm saying in our contextual understanding of lying, it's somebody who intentionally sought to deceive, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so that's fair. So God does not intentionally seek to deceive as man intentionally seeks to deceive. You see? Man
Yes.
What's the
intentionally
difference?
seeks to deceive, whereas God's motive when he changes his mind or he quote unquote lies, it wasn't a lie because he did not intentionally seek to deceive.
He unintentionally sought to deceive?
No, it is perceived by one that he was intentionally seeking to deceive, but that wasn't his motive. It wasn't his heart.
So he did deceive.
No, those words are taken out of context.
Yeah,
It's all
affordable. You're
about
not
the
a troll, are you,
context.
man? Because, dude, if you are a troll, you're like, damn
No,
it.
he's
No.
not. I'm actually pretty impressed with him today. Believe it or
Well,
not.
let's say what you're saying is true, that deceive is an intentionality, okay, versus an unintentional deception, okay. So
What
if
is an
somebody
unintentional
unintentionally
deception?
deceives somebody, okay, where it wasn't intentional that they would deceive, okay, is that as bad as somebody that intentionally sought to deceive? Yes or no?
I don't understand the relevance of your question.
If we're in a court of law and somebody sought to intentionally
I
kill someone,
understood the question. I don't
okay,
understand the relevance of it.
I am going to give it to you. So I study law. So if I'm in the court of law and somebody intentionally sought to unalive someone versus somebody that accidentally unalived someone, is it on the same level of punishment? Yes or no?
It's the same question. You're not
First degree
explaining the
murder, second
relevance
degree,
of
third
it.
degree murder.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
not, sir. You have to explain the relevance. That was my question. What is the relevance of
the
this?
relevance is the one word that we both agreed upon, and that is contrast. God contrasting against man.
Yeah, see, listen, affordable, this is what you're missing. I'm actually saying there's a strong contrast that's trying to be drawn here, right?
Okay.
You're
All right.
saying there's not a strong contrast. So I'm actually saying there's a stronger contrast here.
I'm
You're
just
saying,
all
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying.
contrast. It's just not in the same way. God will lie, just not in the same way.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So God will lie, just not in the same way.
Listen, if somebody used their vehicle to murder somebody versus somebody committed, in layman's terms, vehicular homicide, it was unintentional. Are they both tried in the same way?
I don't understand the relevance of your question.
The relevance is that lying can be intentional and lying can be unintentional.
Okay, you're an attorney. So
Yeah.
here, let me see if I can ask you one that I think will be fitting here. Can if the text said, God is not a man that he should murder.
Okay.
Okay. Could you interpret that to mean God could, he will murder, but just not in the same way that man will?
Exactly.
So God could murder according to your lights?
He's sovereign.
So you understand the definition of schmurder here, yeah?
Well, I understand the definition of smurder, but the smurder can be talked about in different ways. Like I said, there could be first degree smurder, second degree smurder, and third degree smurder. Which smurder are we talking about?
Well, I don't know that it makes a difference.
It does.
Any of them.
In a court of law, there's unintentional smurder and there's intentional smurder, where one actually diabolically plotted out the smurder versus somebody was using an axe, and in the course of using the axe handle flew off and hit somebody in the head and unintentionally smurdered them.
But that wouldn't be called schmurder. I mean, I'm not an attorney.
Oh, it
but
is.
Murder. That's
Oh, it
just an
is.
accident. There's no.
No,
I mean,
it's
hey,
murder.
If it's murder, I stand
in
corrected. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an attorney.
I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney. And I'm telling you that's how the game is played.
Affordable. Relax. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
Relax. I'm trying to say I'm not an attorney.
Damn, dog.
So if that's the case, I'm sorry. It's a bad example then, right? I thought schmurder was unjustified unaliving.
You know what vehicular homicide is?
I clearly don't. I mean, I know.
Vehicular homicide is where a vehicle is used in the course of somebody's murder.
Right. Sorry. What I mean by that is these fine distinction about what is in the law and what's not in the law is considered murder. I clearly don't know those distinctions, and that's okay. Right.
Okay.
So
there's
that's
unintentional murder and there's intentional murder. Can we agree on that?
I don't know. You're telling me. I'm just going to take your word for it because you're the attorney.
Okay. So there is intentional murder and there's unintentional murder. Okay. So
then it's a bad example. Then I shouldn't use that example because I didn't realize that was the case.
Okay. So there could be lying, which is intentional. Okay. And when those facts comes out in the court of law, when they're cross-examined or in the course of questioning them, and it concludes that they intentionally knew and they intentionally lied, the punishment is different than somebody who had an oversight.
Okay, so listen, if that's the case, affordable, that's fine, that's fine. So here, let me be more specific then, right? Instead of giving an analogy. The word kazav that's used here in Numbers 23:19 means to intentionally deceive someone. That's what it means.
Correct. But for who?
For anybody.
No. So that's where you're wrong.
No. So I'm telling you, hey, listen, affordable. Listen, affordable. Do you remember when I said, oh, you're the attorney, I don't know the law, so I'm going to just defer to you on this because I don't know?
Okay.
Do you know Hebrew?
I know some, I don't know all.
No, so no, you don't, right? I know some of the law, but I'm not an attorney. So this is a part where you should say, okay, I don't know Hebrew. You're telling me that the Hebrew word kazav in the PL means to intentionally deceive somebody. I I'm going to defer to you on that until I go do some research on my own or something like that, right?
I've
Talk
already
to another
agreed with
Hebrew
you on
expert.
that, sir. I
You
already
didn't. You
agreed.
just said that's where you're wrong. Do you remember saying that to me?
Well, what I'm saying is you're wrong in the reading of it in its contextual form.
I didn't
That's
say
what,
anything about.
not the
I'm
word.
saying that the
word
word
is right.
kazav, the word
Kasav is
kazav,
right. Kasav is right. I'm not
it
disagreeing with you,
means
but
to,
what I'm
right.
saying
It
is
means
when
to
you read it Kasav in
intentionally.
its context, you're wrong.
I don't even know what that means. Like,
Yes, you do.
what is that? No, I
Yes, you
absolutely don't
do.
know how you're using that.
Because we just concluded, I think at least 5 times, that we both agreed that we're dealing with, in that verse, the word contrast is the common denominator. Correct?
Yes, humans do this. God doesn't.
There you go. Now we're on the same page. My God.
Okay, get ready to be off the same page because here you're going to change your mind again. You're
right.
going to nacham here. And
You're
All
definitely
right.
immortal.
right? Yeah, you're definitely immortal here. So look, if the text is saying humans lie, God doesn't, humans change their mind, God doesn't, right?
Right. I agree. We're on the
Period.
same page.
Okay, period.
Nope.
That's it.
Nope. Nope.
But see, you're
No.
changing your mind again.
See, that's where
There
you're
we
wrong.
go.
See, because you got to understand what is, you're deviating from what you and I have established as the common denominator, and that's contrast.
No, sir, you are.
No,
It's crazy, people. You don't realize what you're doing right now.
I just
Affordable.
established with you that there's different variations of the same word.
But not
Okay.
here. But not
Yes, it is.
here.
Well,
Nope.
you're right there, but where you're wrong at is God drawing a contrast to that word? Yes or no?
No. He's
Yes,
drawing
he
a
is.
contrast
He said
between
he
him.
is.
You asked
He
me a
said
question
he's
and then
drawing a
I
contrast
well,
against
he
that
didn't
word
say anything about
intentional.
I'm drawing a contrast. No.
Yes, it
No, he
is.
didn't say
Read
that.
it.
No,
We already concluded it. I thought you and I were on
no,
the
sir.
same page.
No,
sir.
sir. No, sir. No, sir. The
Where
contrast is,
did we fall off the wagon? Show me where we fell off.
When you changed your
let's
mind
go.
again.
I didn't change my mind. I agree
course
that
you
word
did.
means intentional. But I also
Okay.
agree that when you read that word in its context of what is God trying to say, he's drawing a
hardest thing I've ever
contrast
done.
between intentional and unintentional.
Okay. Let me say this. Let me ask you this. If God says in one verse, I don't kazav, right?
Right.
I don't kazav. Can he in another verse say, I do kazav?
Well, the problem with your theory there, sir, is you're drawing a conclusion based upon you making it up as you're going along. What I'm saying is
No,
when
I'm
we read
not.
this
Can you just
verse,
answer my question?
it
Can
does
you just
not
answer
say
my
that.
question? Can you just
Right, but
answer
you're
my
trying
question?
to bait me into saying something that verse is not saying.
No, it's just
Do you know what
asking you a question.
You're leading the witness, sir. You're
I'm not
leading
leading
the
the witness.
witness.
I'm not leading the witness. I mean,
Yes,
I'm
you
not an
are.
attorney, so maybe I am.
Just
But like,
read the verse in its
yeah.
context,
Okay.
and then
Well,
let's
listen.
draw a conclusion
Yeah. Okay.
that God
If
is using the word contrast between Himself
he
and
hasn't
humanity.
used. Show me the word contrast
Read the verse.
again.
Read it. Read it.
Has any? I've read it
Read
now like
it. Just
8
read it.
times. Okay, I'm going to read
You're
it. If it
asking
doesn't,
me something, and I'm just saying read
hey,
it, and then I'll show you.
I've got it memorized
Is it
at this
going
point.
affordable? Am I going to say the word contrast when I translate this?
No.
No.
But we're also dealing with Hebrew versus English, are we not?
Yeah. Can you show me the Hebrew word that is translated contrast here?
Read the verse. You read it in Hebrew, didn't you?
Okay. Lo ish el v'chasev
Right.
uven adam
Translate
v'yit
as you're going.
necham. Oh, wait a minute.
Translate
No,
as you're
you.
going, sir.
Okay. Not. I'll do it very woodenly. Not a man is God. That he will not lie.
Exactly.
And
Stop there. Not a man. Okay, so that's a contrast. Can we agree on that? Yes or no? Finally. Can we?
are you well?
Is he drawing a contrast? He's
Yes,
not.
he doesn't, but he doesn't use the word contrast, which was what you were saying.
No, but I mean, can you infer that's what
Of
that's
course, I've
we're
said that
translating from
56
Hebrew?
times.
Are we
Affordable, affordable,
translating from Hebrew to
affordable.
English? Yes or no, sir?
Yes, of course we
Right, you
are.
have to then bring it into its context of the English language.
I did about 6 times, and I never
Okay,
used the
so
word
if
contrast
in
in the translation.
if in the Hebrew it's saying that God is not a man, he's drawing a contrast.
I've said that about 15 times now.
My gosh.
Affordable.
Why is it so? You
Like,
change your mind. This is what God is talking about. He's not a man that he should change his mind. Like you change your mind.
affordable. You've got
Some of us
to
do
be a
more than
troll.
others. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to be a troll. Why does your voice sound so familiar to me? Have we talked before?
He's been up here a bunch of times. This is the first time he's actually made it more than 5 minutes into a conversation, though. Like he hadn't spazzed out and started name calling and stuff.
When you can't prove something, you start crashing and calling names. Listen, I'm not a troll.
That's what
My
you
name
do,
is Tony.
not us.
I live in Ohio. I'm a human being.
It's okay. I get it. I'm trying to be kind of funny. I'm kind of, which means you will lie and change your mind.
King
So it's okay.
James in 1611 translate? Did King James have the Bible translated from the Hebrew? Sorry, somebody keeps trying to call me. From the Hebrew into the English tongue. Yes or no?
Yes. Why is
so?
Okay,
what they're attempting to do is draw an inference from the original meaning from the Hebrew into the English tongue. So you have to use English words. See, we are trying our best to get the rich and true meaning behind what is God saying. We're taking it
that's
from
not what a
tongue, a former tongue. That's not our tongue.
Affordable.
Right?
That's not what translators are. Yeah, affordable. That's not what translators are doing. Right? There's a certain extent of that if you're doing a more dynamic translation, but translators are trying to bring across the meaning of a particular word when they bring it into the receiver translation or the receiver language. Like they're not trying to draw these broad theological, like what is it that God is intending or something. Those aren't questions that we ask, right? We look and we say, what does the word ish mean? Right, and we do comparative Semitic studies or lexicography, and we say, okay, so ish, has the meaning of like man or human, right? That's what we do.
Oh, you'll have to unmute yourself. Somebody, I don't know how you got muted.
Is there any punctuation, paragraphs, or any of our modern ways of writing in those original or close to original manuscripts? Yes or no?
In the Masoretic text tradition, yes, but no, not in the earliest.
Okay, so if there is no punctuation in the oldest manuscripts that we can find, okay, then one has to translate it, but can it be skewed in the translation? Yes or no?
Of course.
There you are. So what I'm saying
do you mean, there I am?
Is your perception of what God is trying to say, okay, based upon your perception of the translation. You're trying to translate it from Hebrew and get the meaning in English.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that subject to private interpretation?
I don't even know what private interpretation means there.
One's own.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that we do is without interpretation.
There you are, sir. So what I'm saying is that
okay, so what does that mean? Like, what possible relevance could that hold here?
Well, what relevance holds is that you and I differ because you have one's own private interpretation of what you're perceiving God is meaning. based
right?
on the
Well, not
translation from
God,
Hebrew to English.
not God, right?
Not who? Who then? Who then?
The
If not
writer,
God?
the writer.
Okay. So the writer now, we're dealing with a writer. We're not dealing with God.
Of course, it's an
Okay,
ancient
so
text.
the writer's true intention in using that word,
Hmm.
okay, lie,
Hmm.
okay, okay, does not specifically say whether it was intentional or
It does.
unintentional. Okay, I want you to explain that to me.
That's what the word kazav means.
Okay, so let's say that that's true. I'm going to give you
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay, is God drawing a contrast between kazav, if I said that correctly,
You did.
and non-kazav? Yes or no?
Non-kazav. I don't know what non-kazav. What do you mean by that?
Intentional versus non-intentional.
No, I don't think that's what's going on here.
You don't think. But when
No.
I read it, that's how I perceive it.
Well, I can make my argument, right? I think the text is actually pretty simple.
Right. It is.
Yeah. So when it says here,
Slanted in my direction. So
okay.
when I
well, wait. Let me tell you why I say that.
okay.
Right? The text, like it's in. I don't know if you know the story that this is in, right? But this is Balaam. Balak has called him, and Balak wants him to curse Israel. If you remember that,
Yep.
right?
Nope.
Israel's amassed on the east side of the Jordan, opposite Jericho.
Yeah, I got it.
And Balak, yeah, okay, all right, cool. So he calls to Balaam and says, "Get your ass up here, right? I want you to come curse Israel."
Right.
And so on several different occasions, again, you remember, but maybe for the audience
The whole
sake.
story, I got it.
Okay, awesome. So in that context, Balaam is saying, I can't tell you something that God didn't say, right? And I can't like change the message. And I like what God says, that's what he's gonna do, right?
Exactly.
Like that's the context of this.
God is going to bless Israel, not curse them.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So here, when like if you I mean, we're all big fans of the context here. So here in verse 18, it's when he starts the next oracle, right? And he says, get up, Balak, and hear, give ear to me, O son of Zippor. And then that's the opening here. And then he says, God is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should change his mind.
Right.
He himself has said, and will he not do it? He himself, implied here, I think from the previous cola, has spoken, and will he not establish it?
Right.
Okay, so
we keep going, but I think the main theme of this conversation is a contrast.
Right. In other words, the message that Balak is supposed to get from this is the thing that I'm getting ready to say that's from God, shit's going to happen.
Right.
Right. It's right. Okay. I don't understand why this is confusing to anybody.
Because what you're not getting out of that verse is the one word that I keep saying to you is God is drawing an inference, a contrast between how man interacts in communicating from what they say and how they change what they say versus how God says something and changes his mind.
Okay, affordable. If that were the case, right? If that were actually what was in the mix here,
so let's go forward.
Let's go. Yeah.
So now you're going to draw a lie into that, right? You're going to draw a lie as a cross.
No. You don't like that one, so that's fine. Let's just go with the change of mind thing, right? Balak, I think, could walk away from this thinking, maybe this won't happen. Because if, in fact, what's being implied here in the statement is that God might change his mind, but he won't do it on a whim. He won't do it, for no reason. He's not going to be capricious about it, but he might change his mind. Then I feel like the emphasis of this entire verse is it just falls completely flat.
Well,
Because
that's one
Balak
way
could
of
walk
looking
away
at it.
and right, but I mean, like that's how we have to
That's
look at
only
it, right?
that's only one way of looking at it. I can
Right,
have a
but you
different
have.
way of looking at it.
I know that you can, but you'd have to substantiate that and make it make sense in its
I can.
context.
I can.
So you think? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Here's the thing: God's sovereign, and God is not telling the prophet to tell him emphatically at that time what his true intentions with Israel is. Okay, what he's
I mean,
doing.
you can't just say that. I mean, it's cool to say that, but you're an attorney. You know that. If you just say that to the judge is going to be like, and why do you say that? Like, build your case.
Okay, so the case is that what God is going to do with Israel is his business. Okay, they're his property. He's going to do with Israel what he wants. Okay, you may not like that. Okay, but I cannot tell God what to do or what not to do. God is sovereign. God
But
is
what
going
does that? But what does that have to do? But what does that have to do with God? Like, change it. He's getting ready to tell them what he's going to do. He's going to lay it out.
right, and
It's
he
not
does.
his business.
And he
Yeah,
does.
yeah, and he does. So what you're saying though is that Balak could walk away from this going, maybe that's not going to happen. Maybe God will change his mind. I mean, if he does, it'll be a really good reason for him to do it, but he could change his mind. So this isn't quite as sure as,
But that's one
it's
way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it could be that God is not man, that he's so changeable in his ways, and he's firm in what he's saying here. So just take it as it is that God is not going to curse these people. He is going to bless these people, whether you like it or not. And he is not going to change his mind, as man is changeable. So
but he might change it. But he might change it.
well, you could perceive that. I mean, you could pound that in there if you want. That's what religion is.
That's what you're doing. Affordable.
I'm not doing that. I'm very
Okay.
emphatic
You
about that.
are.
Okay.
been
I
like
feel
an
like we're
hour
going
now.
around in circles. Affordable. I got to get some stuff done. It's actually been a really nice conversation. I've appreciated it. God, it's nice to get to know you. And I'm actually gonna give you a follow because I've actually enjoyed this. But I got to drop down and get some stuff done. But thank you very much for letting me
If
come
you're
up
ever
here
in
and intrude.
Cleveland, I'd be
Look at 'em
beer
running
and
from me.
wings. I would be beer and wings with you and have a good time.
All right, that sounds
Thank
good.
you,
And yes,
Doctor.
Mac Luster is here, so I've got to run because Mac Luster's he's gonna tear me up. So, but good talking to you guys. Thanks, Affordable, for the conversation, and thank you for adding me up, Jesse.
Dr. Josh,
I can
always a
hear you
pleasure.
Take care,
sweating,
Always a
guys.
Dr.
pleasure.
Bowen. I can hear you sweating down the phone.
See you, Mac. I'll let
Max
you
the
drop me down, man.
motherfucking scholar bro killer. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, I got you, Doctor. So Affordable.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, well,
He just
shit.
lies so fluidly. It's almost respectable.
I don't know. I suspect he's just so lost up there he don't understand what he's actually doing here.
There's certain
Going back
little
and forth in his head
giveaways.
like that.
There's certain little giveaways when somebody's full of shit and you know it. He genuinely sounds like, you know, Tim Heidecker
I don't think
from
so.
like Tim and Eric, awesome show, and he did like some other stuff. But he sounds just like him doing a bit. Yeah, I've had an
No, I guess I
interaction with him
don't.
before. He's not a he's not a genuine person.
Yeah, he's came up here like 4 times, and I've kicked him off usually within like 30
Yeah.
seconds. But that time, hey, maybe he learned from my tutelage and like and calmed them down for a minute.
They always get into like why it's okay that God lies as the answer for does God lie? Right? They'll say no, and then here's why it's okay. The same thing happens
Right.
with Ezekiel 14. They'll say, no, he had to. They were false prophets. Like, okay. Still lied.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Well, it
whatever
usually starts
great
off as
reason.
he didn't say that, then you show them where he said that, and then they justify it. Or try to.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Maybe. Let's see. Algorithms somewhat normal. Well, we ran out of folks in the queue. There was two people there. So, if you are a Christian and you want to come back up, there is no wait to talk right now. So if you got one of these topics you think you can answer better than the last fellow, not sure that's saying much, but if you think you can, come on up and holler at us. We'll get somebody here in a second, I think. What's this? Yeah, the algo's moving okay, so we should get somebody in here any second now.
How's the live been so far?
It's been great so far. It's been mostly just wait, there was one person up here earlier. Shit, my memory's already left me on the first person I talked to. It didn't last very long. And then affordable came up. It's probably been damn near an hour of conversation there.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm actually pretty impressed with the guy. He calmed his ass down a lot for that one. To talk that long. Might be chipping it away at his craziness. Like really, 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 really slowly. Still making progress, though. They're going in the right direction. Another 200 years we'll have him there. Anyway, Christians, the guest queue is wide open. That's right. Thank you, Queen. So come on in if y'all want to talk at us. We've got a co-host up in here today, sharp as a tack. The destroyer of Scholar Bros is Mac. Of Scholar Bro arguments.
Yeah, as evidenced by Dr. Bowen's quick departure.
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, shit, there's Mac. I got things to do. Anyway, let's see. I guess it's still moving. Yeah, it's still moving. Well, we'll have to do what we usually have to do now that we're out of people. We'll wait a minute or two, I guess. Usually don't take too long. There was a couple people in the queue. Let's see who's still here. Oop. All right, well. Christians, where y'all at? Come on up and talk with us. We need some Holy Spirit in here. Need some answers to some questions up here. That would be great. So we will anxiously await your arrival. But since you all just met him real closely, let's go ahead and give our boy, our best friend, the Scholar Bro himself, Dr. Josh, a holler. This is Dr. Josh's book, Learn to Speak Ancient Hebrew, Volume 1. You can support Dr. Josh, that awesome motherfucker who was just up here, and his awesome family, his quite large family. And you can grab that book there on Amazon for $29.95. And he also has some other amazing books. Even if you don't want to learn another language, he has amazing scholarly info. The Atheist Guide to the Old Testaments, must reads if you like doing debates like this. They are must haves.
Does Mrs. T have me blocked?
Who?
Mrs. T. Everyone said, like, bring her up. And I go, account not found. I think that means she has me blocked, but I'm fairly sure I never had an interaction with her.
Mrs. T. Maybe she got me blocked. I don't see a Miss T anywhere.
I don't think she could be here.
Oh, wait. Yeah,
she has you blocked.
I can't invite her up either, so I don't know. She only has 96 followers.
Yeah, I think it's like
That's
privacy
awesome.
settings. I think she has to request.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, that would be cool. We need some. She ran. Somebody said she ran. Anyway, Christians, please come on through. Give us somebody to talk to up here. This is a debate channel, a conversate debate channel. So come conversate or debate with us. We're up to 32:14. We'll give it, let's see. Give another 5 or 10 minutes, I reckon, see what happens. We can just sit here and chill, read off some comments, see what we get. If not, we'll reposition from there. Been an awesome show already. If y'all didn't catch the last conversation, that was a gigantic headache, but it was pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining. Thank you, Sailor Man. I appreciate that. Like it's crazy. He would like. That's why I started that whole conversation. I was like, do we both agree the context of this verse is saying God does not change his mind? He's like, yeah, totally. Didn't even think about it.
Not the same way.
Yeah.
Like,
Of
that's
course, yeah.
crazy. Because like it's binary. You either do it or you don't. The way is irrelevant when the contention is, do you do it or do you not? How you do it doesn't fucking matter at all.
Yeah. And then I read 1 Samuel 15:29 like 6 times in a row, and he said I was leaving stuff out, which I don't know what that means. But it says, moreover, the glory of the God of Israel will not deceive or change his mind, comma, for he is not a mortal, comma, that he should change his mind. Well, I don't know. In English, that's pretty damn clear to most, I would think, with even the most basic reading skills.
That was clearly just like a tactic. Like you could have said anything. You could have read anything, and it would not be enough. You could have said, "I, God, am a liar, and I change my mind all the time." And he would say, "Well, okay, look, time. He's not in time, right? Some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? It's just
I
a tactic.
thought that one time he was going to. I thought I could have swore he was going to say, "Are you limiting God?" With oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. That's blasphemy. All right, so let's see. Jax, are you there?
I am. Thanks for having me on. Just popped into your stream here, so I haven't heard a lot yet. So you may have to repeat yourself a little bit, and I apologize for that if we have some questions here. But I see you're a former
No
Christian.
worries.
Is that correct?
Yeah. So let me ask you first: are you over 18?
Oh yes, I'm 47.
Awesome. And you're a Christian, I take it?
Yes, I am a Christian.
Awesome. Yeah, now say whatever you want to say. Sorry, got to confirm those two.
So you are a former Christian. I mean, I guess when did you lose your faith, or how long ago did you lose your faith? Can you just give me a little background?
Almost 15 years ago now. I was probably around 27 years old. I was raised as a Christian. I was a Christian my young adult life, and up until I was about 27. Yeah.
What changed your mind?
Just scrutinizing the religion, studying the
Sure.
Bible.
Sure.
And I can't justify the awful things that God does in the Bible, so had to go, man. It don't line up with my morality.
I will not deny that there's definitely some, Bible verses and Bible chapters that would contradict what a loving God would do, right? So I see you have slavery in your prompt, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I do not condone slavery. Why it's in there, that's always been a point of contention for me. But what keeps me a Christian is not these points of, oh, there's slavery in the Bible. It's the love of Christ, right? We're supposed to be Christ's life. And I, had sworn to Christ. I swore my life to Christ. I gave him my heart and soul and to save me, right? And he abolishes our sins. And
Well,
to
do you
me,
think Jesus
that
is God?
message, I'm sorry, is Jesus God? Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're worshiping the thing that you don't like the stuff that it's doing, at least in some cases.
In some cases. I don't have the answers of why, because I can ask for him. Whether or not he'll answer is a different case, right? He does answer certain things for me, but sometimes he does not. I mean, have you really I don't want to say you were never a real Christian, right? Because I don't like to say that, right? Because I do believe that you at one point believed Jesus was Lord and Savior, correct? Like, which would make you, in my head, a real Christian and saved. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You say, why is God unjust? What's like an example of why God is unjust?
One of the best examples, and since I already got it pulled up on my screen right
Sure.
here, would be like the slaughter of the Amalekites. Like he punishes people. It's actually worse. I was going to say he punishes people for other people's crimes, but it's even worse than that in some cases because he literally makes the people commit the crimes and then punishes them for committing the crime that he made them commit. To me, that's just pure evil. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
So we can say, though, all right, so the slaughtering of another tribe by the Israelites, like you say that's evil, correct?
Well, the reason made it evil more than anything.
Well, what was the reason, right? They were ungodly
Because
and
they
they were the
opposed.
Gentiles.
No, because they opposed the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt. They lost a war to them 400 years prior to this event.
Right. So
they're being punished. Literally, they're being genocided for a war that they lost 400 years prior.
yeah, war does suck, but like if they were ungodly, degenerate, hedonistic PDF files.
Okay, but that's not what the Bible says. Now you're just adding. The Bible tells you explicitly
Yeah, that's
why.
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's giving us the reason. Yeah.
Right, but there is like more to it than just like I understand that's what it like says, but there could like if there was even in today's world, if there was a culture that was doing some horrendous things, and we took them out, is that evil? No, right? When we would say that's kind of a moral thing, right?
If you slaughtered everything that breathed in that culture, yes, it would be.
Everything that breathes. No, I'm not saying kill the children or anything like that. I mean,
That's what they were commanded
Well,
to do.
If they were close, the ones who were far away, if you besiege them, you have to give them the chance to surrender and be your slaves. Then if they don't do it, you have to put all the males to the sword and you can keep the women and children alive as war plunder.
sure.
According
Now,
to
okay, so
Deuteronomy.
I'm
20.
gonna expand that because this comes up a lot. Like, oh, God let them have the women and children as like these like sort of sex slaves of whatnot, right? Like that seems to be, is that kind of like your position? Like you're allowed to keep
That's
these
what it
women as
says,
your
yeah.
property and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, very clearly, yeah.
Yeah, and that's bad.
Yeah, it's quite explicit. Yeah.
Yeah. Would it have been better if I guess would it have been better if they were killed on the spot or left to be deserted?
I mean,
Wait, what?
I've talked to a lot of women, and they would say, yeah.
They would rather die? Like, okay, what if the soldiers were like, you know what, I'm not gonna do
What
this.
would be even better is not going and like engaging in conquest. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
That'd
no.
be awesome.
Well, war is war, and war's been going on since humans exist, and and it happens.
Well, why didn't God say, look, don't go out and conquer people. Don't take slaves.
Because then they would have been conquered,
If
right?
you have the right to defend yourself. If the Amalekites show up here and try to conquer you, like, defend yourself. But don't, like, take them as war captives. Like, to me, this would have been far more impressive for the God to do. But he actually just made everything worse, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, and you're not wrong there, but just hear me out on the. I want to keep going back with like the women plunder thing. Can we agree? All right, like I'm going to assume you do not find young girls like under the age of 16 attractive, right? I'm going to assume like that, and neither do I, right? So is it not possible that these soldiers who took these girls were not attracted to them? They were just like, hey, I'm going to give you. What if they gave them home,
girls were
food,
getting married at like
and they never
12 to 14, right?
You also got to remember too, like people died at a lot younger ages back then, right?
Yeah, it
Women
says
giving
you only
birth at
have to-
14, right?
Yeah, it says if you think they're beautiful, you can take them as a war bride. It doesn't say you have to, though. But it says if you find them beautiful and you're like desire them, then yeah, that's when you shave their head, make them pare their nails.
Right.
And
So
change
the
their
shaving their
clothes.
head make them pretty.
Then you're supposed to give them 30 days, I think, to mourn
Yeah,
their
30 days to
mother
mourn.
and father whom you've just slaughtered, and then you can go into them sexually, and then you're married.
Why would shaving their head? What? It's a.
I'm just
it's
saying,
a
like-
ritual.
It's a
Yeah, no,
sign of
it's-
defeat. When you shave somebody's head, it's It's demonizing them, basically.
Yeah, no, it's more, it's basically salt on the wound, right? Demoralizing them even more, right, by
Yeah,
taking away their
exactly,
hair. So,
yeah.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're just children, girls. I mean,
Sure.
that's pretty insane. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't necessarily have to be sex slaves, though, right? They like. I'm not going to say that every soldier was like perfect. I'm sure there were some soldiers that were like, oh yeah, this like
This
9-year-old
was their
is absolutely
prize.
beautiful, and I'm going to do horrendous things. So yes, that's terrible, and that soldier would face God and face punishment for that.
These things are given to them by God.
Because,
Yeah,
okay,
he's
just
saying
because there's
if
a
you find them beautiful, take them and do that. Like this is if they're attracted to them and if they desire them. They're getting sexually assaulted in every single case of this happening. I guarantee you, this isn't an outlier.
No,
that happened once in a while.
Because there is a command. It's that okay? It's not they were not divinely commanded to do this. It was just their as they were not divinely commanded to take these. All right.
Yes, they are.
This is literally
It's-
commands from God. Yeah.
No, it's laws. It's not okay. Just because something's even
Where
if
do the
something's a
laws
law,
come from?
do you have to do it? For instance, drinking is allowed, right? I don't have to drink though, right? And I know that this is a kind of a weak analogy.
No.
I'm just trying to
This
show
says
like
when
just
you-
because
no,
there's something
This
in
is
there.
not. This is not like an optional thing. There's no if. It's when. When you
When.
go. Yeah, when you
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
a faraway nation to fight against it, offer them terms of peace. If they agree to the terms of peace, then everyone in that town shall serve you at forced labor. But if they refuse, you siege the town, and when God hands it to you, you kill all the men and take the women and children as spoils.
Or Christians, right?
What?
Well, there were no Christians at the time, but this
Well,
is
right.
still
Yeah,
what
you know
God
what I
is
mean.
telling them to do.
Followers of
This is a
God.
command for war. Yeah.
He's telling them to do this. It's not conditional. It's not if you want to.
Yeah, he's saying if you, well, I mean, you can put the war part in there, but he's saying if you besiege a town, I command you to do all this stuff.
This is
Like,
when.
These are still commands
This is when.
in the case, you know.
That's why I use this one, because there is no option there. It's when.
Okay.
Everything is when.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I could concede on this point. I think like that it's bad, but like if 10% of the book is bad, but 90% is good, like
If I gave you a bowl of cereal and 10% of it was cat shit, would you eat it?
no,
Right.
but okay. But what if you said like, hey, here's a big swimming pool, and on one part of the pool, somebody pooped in it. I could still jump in the shallow one way far away from it, right? and if I was really
You
hot,
could.
So,
Would you call that
So,
good?
You're still gonna get dysentery.
not necessarily. If I'm like, you know what, I'm super hot. I'm like, oh my god, it's way over there. I'm just gonna dunk my feet in this water.
Well, I think our confusion now is if you think Jesus is God, like, why do you? I mean, how can you get past any of this stuff? Like, even if that was the only bad thing we could point out was the rules of war and captive war brides taken as sex slaves. I mean, that would be enough for me. I'd be like, screw this. Like,
right. No, I'll go to how it's explained to me, and believe me, I haven't come to full like, oh, this is completely godlike. I struggle
Oh, good,
on these passages as well. Okay, enough so that I've talked to my pastors about it. People that I would assume have more theological knowledge on the Bible than I do. Right. So, how this was sort of kind of explained to me was in the original text, and as this has been translated through centuries and centuries, that the message may have been misinterpreted to be worse. And that could be cope, right? But this is how it was explained to me. I'm not saying like I totally, but that's like, if we had the original scriptures, that this was not actually in that. Over time, as it just translated through different languages and passed through different hands and passed through different powers, so to be, some of these things got in there. Again, not saying for sure like that's the case, but that's kind of how it was explained to me. And
they got in every book that Moses wrote, just about it. This isn't just like one verse outline here. This is outlined in several books of the Bible. Like, this is a recurring theme.
Yeah. But we agree it's all gone now, right? Like, so now we don't do this stuff anymore, right?
No,
Right,
we don't.
very good.
That's just a misunderstanding of Scripture.
Yeah. So the Bible, so Jesus is love. We don't do these things because of that's bad, right? We'd agree. No one's
I'm
doing
saying,
this
look,
anymore.
if Jesus is God, what God and Jesus said, what Jesus himself said in the Old Testament was that keeping these laws are what's doing good and right in my sight. That keeping these laws is what will keep you happy in the land that I've given you. He says they are not too hard from you or too far away. And he says you will keep them all the days that you live on the earth. So according to Jesus, these laws are never going away. And Jesus even said in the Sermon on the Mount, he says, until heaven and earth pass away, not one dot or stroke of a letter will pass from the law.
No, that is true.
Yes.
No, that is absolutely true.
And so when did the law go away?
I mean, it's it's gone as human beings have moved past that. Is it like technically still like on the
Oh,
books?
well, I agree.
quote,
We're
unquote?
way better than this now. Yeah. In the modern age, we've moved far outside of this God's.
Sure. But should we
Love and
throw
mercy,
away
yeah.
Christianity as a 2000
Absolutely,
year old? You know, like you don't think it's got any
Well,
good?
I mean,
Like, you
Jesus
don't
is
think a
saying
Christian
to keep
worldview
these
is-
awful laws
No,
from
it's
the Old
not.
Testament. I mean, why would you do it?
No,
'Cause you're
any
hyper-focused,
worldview
and-
that says that it's justified that people will be punished eternally for things they did in a finite existence is trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't keep these laws if your eternity depended on it. If
Nope, I
if God
absolutely
came
not
to
do
you
so.
right now and said, you're not getting to me unless you do this stuff, you probably wouldn't do it anyway.
I would not do it. I would at that point I would absolutely.
Yeah,
give
so
up
let's
and
just
say
go ahead and drop it right now, and we can all move on and, not condone slavery and child
yeah,
growth.
and that's never my position to condone it. I want to make sure that's clear. I am not a slavery condoner.
It is clear. That's why I think you're going to make a really good atheist. here
But
real
the
soon.
thing is, like, yeah, but God does and Jesus does. And Paul does.
I think the Christian worldview is the best one because it's just better. Okay, I'm assuming, are you like secular humanist or
The Christian worldview instituted the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah, it's their fault.
Yeah, no. Again, I'm not condoning any of the slavery stuff. It's all bad. Right? Yes.
Well, there's a lot more to it than that. Slavery is
But-
just one bad aspect.
secular
Like
humanism-
manifest destiny, those are all Christian doctrines.
The
And
Christian
that's what we're
worldview-
doing right now. Like conquering's being cool again all of a sudden. Like, hey, I know, let's bring conquering people back.
Yeah, that's the right wing Christian worldview in action. Yeah,
So what is what is your worldview? I just want to
and secular humanism is far superior.
but why?
I just like old philosophers like Socrates for the most part, even though they did a horrible job of condemning slavery in the.
Wait, you said because it can change,
ancient
that's a
philosophy.
flaw?
Yes, because
How is that
it
a
comes
flaw?
down to
So
preference.
are you
right?
pro-slavery
There'd be a
or
preference.
not?
No, I'm not pro-slavery, but
Then
like,
what are you
anything
talking
could change.
about?
Then
Did God's law change? Did God's position
no,
change?
God's law did not change.
Then he's still pro-slavery. You
Still
worship
pro-conquering. He's not
commanding
you
it
worship a
anymore.
pro-slavery God because he was and he doesn't change.
Right, but yeah, and I've already conceded that the slavery portion.
Okay,
is
then
bad.
you understand that it is not a good view.
It's not a good view, and for
Great.
that,
So then it
okay,
is
that's
inferior to
prong,
one that
though.
does not say that it should be in practice.
Right, but that's one prong of a large.
Do you think women are worth as much as men?
Yes,
Okay, your Bible disagrees. Your
Paul
Bible
says women and men
your
are
Bible
equal.
says women are worth half of men. Paul said women need to submit to their husbands.
Yeah, and submit not in the way of like domination. It's women.
That's exactly what it says in
Literally.
Genesis. It says your husband will rule over you.
Yeah. That's Genesis. They start right from the jump.
Yeah, that's right off the bat. Like they're making that clear right out the gate.
Mm-hmm. But you're putting
At
the
the
negative
start of
twist,
creation.
negative twist on it. Submit doesn't necessarily have to be negative.
I didn't put it
doesn't
there.
mean-
We're just pointing it out.
No,
Does
and
the,
I know,
does
and
the
I know
husband
this.
have to
It's-
submit to his wife?
The husband, like, basically is the one
Yeah,
out.
my work call's starting. I'll be on mute.
I'm sorry. I'll
No,
answer your
it was
question. Do men have to submit to their wives? Yeah. it's a give and take, right? That's what a marriage is, right?
Not
It's a
according
give
to
and
the
take.
Bible, it's not.
The Bible is clear. Paul made it clear. All right. Yeah. When you say submit to your, it's not like in this inferior role. They're not putting, it says
is.
women submit to your husbands, that's not putting them in an inferior role.
Yes, it is. It does,
No,
does it all the time. Women have almost no rights in the Bible. You can sell your daughter as a slave, and she shall not go out as the male slaves do. But you can't sell your son as a male slave, but you can sell your daughter. And she can't even go out like males do. So, like, you have to
yeah.
release a male Hebrew
No, you
slave
definitely
every
like,
six
you
years.
definitely
You don't
got
have
me
to do
on
that
like
at all
those
with
things.
females.
Right. No, again,
Yeah.
you got me on those things. Absolutely. Like, you're not wrong. And I concede that there are these passages that are absolutely problematic. All right. It's tough for me to find it moral. I do struggle with that.
Well, you're not going to find it moral ever.
But no, I'm never going to find it moral. Right. I don't know if you have kids or anything like that. If you had a daughter,
You've
I
already
would not
said
want
it.
to see
Let's
your
move past
daughter.
this.
Sure. Yeah. Like I would not want to see your daughter sold like to a man or something like that. Right. That I would never
Yeah,
want
me
to see
neither.
that. Right.
Yeah.
You know, like that to me would be evil, right? That would be against my morals. It's just,
Absolutely. Jesus don't seem to have a problem with it, though.
I mean, Jesus helped so many like of the people that never got help. Like, you know, like
Did he help the
downtrodden.
girls that got sold into sex slavery?
If I'm sure Jesus,
Jesus isn't all like clouds and sparkly skies. You know, Jesus chastised the Pharisees for not putting their disobedient children to unalignment as per the law of Moses.
yeah, you're a pretty good Christian. You know the Bible pretty well.
I'm way better than a Christian for the most part. I know plenty of Christians that are probably better people than me, but it's not because of Christianity. It's because they're like you. They've moved past this shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I think
I mean,
they
I've
just
read
have
the
an
Bible
idea
once.
about the book. They've never actually read it.
I have read it, and we're going back decades now. I read it like when I first became a Christian. I became a Christian around age 22, somewhere in my early 20s or something like that. You know, I was baptized, you know, in the water, and you know, and I did all the stuff, all the things, and that's when I was like, you know what, I got this book here written by, you know, God. Shouldn't I read it, right? So I read it from front to back.
You think
and,
God wrote that?
I mean, it's God inspired by the Holy Spirit, right? Is what we're taught.
Oh man, this is bad. This is bad.
I know. Hey, you can use me as you know, I know you can use me as a look at this Christian. He doesn't even know this stuff. I have read the Bible, and that's where the first questions came up, like exactly what you're talking about. Where I got to slavery and selling women. I'm like, what the heck? Like, how's this God, right? Like, this doesn't sound like a God thing. This sounds like some man-made thing to find some reasons to justify something, right? So, you know, that's where I went to like my pastors, went to a few pastors. I looked up some stuff, and a lot of it was kind of like, you know, like the translation errors were like some of the answers I got. And a lot of it was like, hey, you know, just because these things are in here doesn't mean like Jesus Christ isn't your savior and he's not going to love all people. And, you know, so it did sort of get hand waved.
Definitely don't love some people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I will admit, like, it did get hand waved away a little bit, and it still like sticks in my craw a little bit, but I just feel like still like the Christian worldview.
Well, what about Jesus telling the disciples? They said, do not go out to any town of the Gentiles. He says, I only came for the lost sheep of Israel.
I don't remember that part, so I'll have to. Again, I read it a while ago.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that specific verse. No, like I said, you probably know the Bible more than I do. Since you are like, well, this is what you do, right? I mean, you are a former Christian who's hosting, right? So you're probably keeping more up on these things than I am, right? So you're probably
I'm just saying it doesn't look good that Jesus is explicitly saying, I only came for the lost sheep of Israel. He says, I did not come to bring peace to the earth. I came to bring a sword. He says, if you do not hate your mother and your father and your brother and your sister and your kids, you can't be my disciple. So,
okay. Well, that means
this is not the dude of love that everybody makes him out to be.
So in regards to that, what he was saying was, you will love me so much that it will look like hate in comparison. Like your love is so high for me that it would look like hate in comparison to your family. That's the interpretation of what Jesus is trying to say. Your love for me will be so high. Like to a grand scale that it's up there, that in comparison to anything else, it would look like hate. That is the meaning of that verse.
It sounds more like he's just saying to me, you have to hate your mother and your father and stuff like that.
That's not what he was saying, though. It's like when people say, like, oh, what comes out of your mouth is
do not think that I've come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and one's foes will be members of one's own household. Whoever loves father or more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves sons or daughter more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. He's telling people to go out and die for him, and then they'll get to go to heaven.
Yeah.
This isn't
he died for
good
us,
or
right?
inspiring language, in my opinion, at all.
But yet
It doesn't say about anything about dying for you right there. He says, if you don't pick up your cross and follow me, you're not worthy of me. And he says, if you lose your life for my sake, you'll find it.
Absolutely. And that's true. Look how, if this was like nothing, it would have died in the water, like at the start. And here we are 2,000 years later, has grown to be what?
That's because people are making excuses for the awfulness that it is.
Or maybe they're focused on the love portion.
What love portion? Where'd that say anything about love?
You know,
besides loving me
nowhere
more
in the
than anybody
Bible
else.
is love spoke. Never like turn the other cheek. Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah, it says love thy neighbor in Leviticus 19, right before it says you can own people as property.
Yeah. But if we're focusing on the love portion, and wouldn't that be moral and better? Right?
Yeah, if you only focus on that, but it's
Sure.
like it doesn't.
I mean,
It
secular
gets a bit overshadowed when you skip to the next page and says you can beat people and conquer them and take women sex slaves. Like, why would I listen to this book that's saying love people when it also says to eat people? So.
Every worldview has black spots in it. Every worldview.
Does a perfect, all-knowing, all-loving God have blind spots in it?
I can't speak on that. I don't know. Sorry.
Well, I mean, if God
is good and God is
this
love,
should be perfect, I would think. But I have serious problems with this.
God is perfect. As they say. God is perfect.
Perfect in what way?
That he's unchanging. He's all love. He's all good.
So he would never make a mistake or do something he regrets?
I can't know that. I would say no, he cannot make mistakes.
Oh. Do people regret things that they don't make a mistake?
We're made in his image, so we regret things. So I wouldn't be, I think.
Well, I mean, God has regrets. He regrets making humans right before he floods the earth. He regretted making Saul king. Like, he was clearly making bad decisions.
Okay. So they may make mistakes. There you go.
Doesn't sound perfect or all-knowing anymore.
Perfect in the sense that he's logically in anything
something perfect
like
have
logical
flaws.
Sense. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to describe what a perfect being would be, right? Because there's no such thing that we have an example of, right? Other than God, right?
Right. Yeah, it's almost like it's made up nonsense.
It could be. I just can't let it go, man. I think even if God didn't exist, I'll concede God doesn't exist for sake of argument, right? God doesn't exist. Christian worldview, I think, is still superior. We don't even need
that makes no sense at all.
Why not?
Well, I mean, if you don't need Christianity or the Bible, then you don't need Christianity or the Bible. It doesn't make more sense than anything if you don't even need it.
No, we still follow the Christian worldview. I'm just saying, even if we gave up, there was no God, right?
What's the Christian worldview?
That, you love thy neighbor as thyself. You help people out.
That you can own people as property and conquer them.
No, we don't
take
do that.
women as sex slaves. And
that's not the Christian
the Bible
worldview.
says you can.
Right.
Yes, it is.
But the Christian worldview is not hold slaves. How many Christians are holding slaves? Zero, right? Come on.
It's illegal here now because we moved past this, just like you said.
Right.
So I'm saying now, like, why not just move past this with us right now? Because we're better than this. You're better than this.
Christians seem to live
It's almost
better
like
lives.
this is a Bronze Age book written by a bunch of Bronze Age desert dwelling Middle Easterners, and
So if we
certainly
can see,
this can't be the way we as a modern society need to function.
so even if I got rid of all that, the Christian worldview I still think is still superior because it is unchanging and it is about love.
What makes it superior?
It seems to be people who are Christian seem to stay together married longer. They seem to be happier in the polls that they're out there. The children tend to be happier.
Way more gay people get married and stay married than straight people do. Less than 25% of gay people who get, no, it's not. Less than 25% of gay people who get married get divorced, and it's over half of straight people who get married get divorced.
I believe the last I saw was women marriages are the highest divorce. We can look it up.
It still falls less than half
I'll
of
eat
straight
crow
people.
if I'm wrong. But I believe the last I saw was women are the. My point is that since they have the higher rate of divorce, that's worse, right? Whereas Christians tend to stay together, which is better
Jesus
for the
said
family.
never marry a divorced woman.
Yeah, wouldn't it be better for family to stay intact, right? Like as opposed to
You
divorce.
don't need Christianity for a family to stay intact. You need a good, strong family unit.
Christianity though gives those people like that bond and the strength.
Then
to
why does
get through those
Christians
tougher
get
times.
divorced at the highest rates?
That's not true.
It is true.
And if
I prove it to
the
you,
only
you're
way
gonna-
that would be
you're
true
gonna
is
be an
because there's
atheist?
more of them, right? Like
Nope.
if there's 6
I'm talking about
billion
per
Christians, of course, like they're going to get divorced and they're going to have higher numbers than a lower percentage of the population. Correct?
No.
That's not correct. You don't agree?
Oh, well, I kind of got lost there.
That's fine.
Maybe I did.
I apologize.
Hold on, I was typing. I'm trying to look this up. So
Sure. And I appreciate you having me on. I really do. Thanks for being kind with me.
yeah, no person. I appreciate you coming up. No, you're cool with me.
You're cool with me too.
You're not up here defending slavery and shit, so you're all right in my book. Because a lot of people do come up here and defend it.
Yeah,
quite insane.
I've never heard a good argument for it on the Christian end, so I'm not going to come up here and try to defend something like that. To me, that's very immoral. One of the most immoral things you could do to a person. So, yeah.
Let's see, divorce rates by gender. Well, women do, according to this, it says women tend to divorce at 41%, where males are at 27%, but it's still showing what I was saying earlier, that gay couples get divorced at less than half the rate of straight couples.
Yeah, I want to say, I think, like surprisingly, like male marriage lasts the longest. I want to say like it goes like that. I think it goes women's the highest of divorce.
Yeah, but according to this, all gay couples last longer than heterosexual couples. That's 50% on heterosexual
Christian?
couples, and less than barely 27% of
Maybe they're
gay
Christian.
couples get divorced.
Right, they could be Christian. Like a gay man can't be
Maybe
Christian.
they're Christian.
You don't think a
So
gay
the
man
gay
can be
Christians
Christian?
are the ones doing it right. Not
No,
the
I'm just
straight
saying, like, can a
Christians.
gay person be a Christian, right? They can be a Christian, correct? Like,
If Christians what's holding us together, then you should see a uniformity in all Christian couples. But I'm not saying that.
sure. I mean, there's always going to be some like, outliers and stuff, but in general, just in the general sense, Christians tend to be the ones to stick together longer. It's the same thing with like
And that's not
people
true.
people with like lower body counts, like stuff like that. Let's say a man and a woman, like they're each other's first and they get married, they tend to stay together the longest, right? Because I think, yeah, like people with one partner who get married and they're the only people's partner, like actually have the longest marriages, and they last. And that's why you see this. Look at like our grandparents and stuff, right? They got married at like 18 and stuff, and they stayed married until like, till they died, right? That was pretty much.
You know what? You know what the biggest cause of all divorce in America is, don't you? It's financial
biggest
problems. You
cause?
can have that whether you're a Christian or not.
Right. Financial problems, infidelity, just incompatibility. This is, that's why I'm a little bit against no fault
Far
divorce.
and
I'm
away,
not
it's
totally against
financial problems, though.
it. Financial problems would be a big one. Yeah. Absolutely. If it's the top one, I don't know. I would, I'll take your word on it because I don't have the figures in front of me. I'm kind of flying off the cusp here, like what's on my mind here. So I may get some stuff wrong, you know.
Yeah. Christian. It's hard to find a straightforward answer on this one. I guess that's a complicated one.
Sure, yeah, it's tough. I mean, I looked up these studies a couple of months ago or something. I was reading divorce rates and things like that, or something like that, and that's where I'm getting my numbers from. But I could be. It might have been an older study, maybe 2021, something like that. But you know, this to me was recent enough still to like kind of. But I don't know, like a nuclear family with Christian values, I feel is just like the best way to go, right? You know, it gives the children a good upbringing, parents stay
What
together.
if that whole family is okay with owning slaves and conquering people?
Well, they wouldn't be Christian then, and that would be terrible, right? Like, so
They would be Christian because this is all justified by the Bible.
right, but nobody does.
There's
Everybody,
nothing
all
in
Christians,
any Christian doctrine that says you can't own slaves.
yeah, all Christians pretty much find that immoral, and nobody's following that. Okay, because that was the case.
No, they
We got
don't.
slavery all over the place, right? We don't have that.
The reason I started the show is to combat the Christians that do think this shit's okay, and they're justified biblically in it. That's what the danger of this is that the Bible says all that stuff is okay. If a Christian is saying owning slaves is not okay, it's not because they're a Christian, it's because they're better than Christians. Because that's not in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
literally, slavery in America was justified by the Bible. That's what they used to justify it. Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, is literally quoted saying it is a God-given right to own slaves.
Sure.
And then he quotes Leviticus 25.
Sure, bad people can use all sorts
bad
of things
book?
to justify.
No. They used it. They literally wrote laws based on what's in there. Like, this is not a misuse of anything.
Right, but anybody who's good and moral didn't follow that, right? Like,
Is it
bad people.
Why would
are
your God give
cherry
him
picking.
moral? Why would your God give him moral commands?
I don't think those commands came from God. Those commands came from like Moses, like right.
Do you not believe the Bible?
God gave them to Moses.
I
It
believe the
literally says
Bible
God-
is the word of God.
Yeah, it
But
literally
he's still
says.
a
Like you
human.
said earlier,
Literally,
God wrote this
it's
book.
literally a quote. It says God. The
Right.
chapter 25 in Leviticus starts with, God said to Moses on Mount Sinai, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them this." ... Everything else in that chapter is an unbroken quote from God. This is not. If you believe the Bible to be true, this is not Moses' word. This is God's word.
All right, so it's the whole reason you're not a Christian. It's just a slavery bit. I get it's a bad one, and it's a good
No,
reason. But is that
Do you
like?
want to you want us to give you some other reasons?
You give me a few. I know you said obviously the slavery is a big one.
I'll give you a few. I'll give
conquering
you
of the
a few
younger
really good
children or
ones.
whatever.
Yeah, so Jesus isn't even a Messiah. The word Christ is a translation of the word Messiah. They both mean the same things. But Jesus was never even anointed, so calling him a Christ is kind of weird. He doesn't fulfill a single prophecy that the New Testament says he does. He doesn't fit any messianic prophecy at all from the New Testament. And God does a whole lot worse than allowing slavery, in my opinion. It was like I was saying earlier. He makes people suffer for his own glory. Like, to me, that's the definition of evil. Like, slavery thing aside, it's bad. Like, he orders grape, he orders babies bashed to pieces, pregnant women put to the sword. Like, this is not a God of love. I even have a motto here on the show. I always say, who needs Satan when you have God?
I've heard that too, actually. Yeah, I've heard that too.
I made that up.
And no, I've heard that before though. I must have heard at least some paraphrased of it or something like that. Like who needs
Similar.
who needs God and or who needs
I may not be the first person to ever think of that, but it's been my thing. I don't know. As far as I know, nobody else says it. But
I don't think it's like naturally quoted, but I've heard like
I'm getting that
something
one
like
copyrighted.
But yeah, I'll attribute it to you. I'm like, Apostate Ape was the one I heard it from. I'll give you all the credit if I ever use it in the future.
That's right. Thank you.
Hey, give you everything. I give props. You're a smart guy. You know what you're doing. Definitely pointed out like some good flaws here. I mean, I definitely got some thinking, but I just think I understand there's bad shit in there. I can't dispute it. I can't even justify it. And I can't.
Well, I
explain.
mean, when it comes down to it, you're worshiping a God that you know is doing horrible shit constantly in this book.
It's just it transcends the book though. Like it's not just the book. I'm not a Christian because of the book. I'm a Christian because of God's love.
Nobody is. This book is horrible.
You wouldn't know about Christ if it wasn't for the book.
Well, it was not like I learned about Christ through the book, though, right? Like I learned about Christ.
Well, you did though, because not directly, but there would be no Christianity if it wasn't for this text. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it has to get to you somehow.
Well, I mean, the Bible wasn't just conjured up, right? It was put together over time through different books added, right? Through the Torah and Paul's letters, etc. Right? So at the time of Paul, he's writing letters. There's no Bible at this point, right? Like there's no.
Are those letters? They seem more like huge books to me.
The letters.
Yeah,
the letters from Paul, like to the Corinthians, letter of Paul to the.
That's a hell of a letter.
Acts. Yeah, well, no, it even starts out, I, Paul, or whatever.
He's a wordy
writing
guy.
this. He's a what guy? I'm sorry.
He's a wordy guy.
He's a wordy guy? Yeah.
I mean, he didn't write half of them, but that's,
well, you don't know that. How do you know that? You don't know that.
That's
we
the
do know that.
consensus. They know that half of those letters are not from him.
There's
no
way
by the language, by the theology, like it doesn't make any sense.
Paul, right? You're saying it's a forgery?
I mean, if I wrote a book called, and I started off with I, Paul, would you think that Paul was writing it? Like,
yeah, that's how they wrote. I, Paul,
this. I wrote it, and I started it with I, Paul of Tarsus, believe this, this, and this. Would you think that Paul wrote it?
I would have no reason not to.
If
you're telling me you wrote it,
I just told you that I
wrote it. You're telling me you wrote it. I would.
Would you? If I wrote it, would you think that Paul wrote it?
If you told me you wrote it, I would not think Paul wrote it. Right.
Right. Or if you could tell because it's written in English. Right.
Well, I was going to say, let me put it this way. Imagine you're an expert. You know what a Picasso painting looks like?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, they're like cubism. They're really distinct. They don't look like anything normal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So imagine you're an expert in cubism type art of Picasso, and all of a sudden somebody brings you a picture that looks like a realistic tree, and it looks like nothing you've ever seen from Picasso. It doesn't line up with his techniques, his brush strokes. The colors are all wrong. He never uses those colors. You would know pretty straight away that this is not a painting from Picasso, right? Or at least have major suspicions.
Yeah, I would have suspicion for sure.
Right. Well, it's the same difference when you, exactly. Well, when you compare those letters, just to put it this way, say Paul says dude every other sentence. Paul says this dude, that dude, this dude, this dude over here, that dude over there. And all of a sudden the letter pops up where a guy says not dude ever, and he's saying like cuz every, now and then, but he never uses the word dude. It's stuff like that. Because all of Paul's letters have a cohesion. And when you get away from those letters, the cohesion stops. The writing style is completely different. So is the theology. I mean, that's how they know.
Yeah, well, I mean, not every single letter of his made it to the Bible. I mean, there's tons and tons of letters. I mean, are some forgeries? I would be suspicious of that, but and it's
First
possible.
and Second Timothy are known forgeries.
This is scholarly consensus. This isn't even controversial.
So there's scholarly consensus that the letters to Timothy are not written by Paul. Is that the claim?
Yeah, they're pseudepigraphal.
No, I'm not going to look it up right now. I am going to look it up after our
Go
chat.
Look it up. There's seven that are believed to be from Paul, or at least one single author, but we'll just call him Paul. And then the other 6 are not.
The other 6 are not. Okay.
Yeah, because there's 13 epistles, right?
So who wrote them then? Does anybody?
I mean, it's unknown.
It's unknown.
Nobody knows them.
There are, suspected authors, but nothing confirmed.
All right.
Paul's literally the only known attributed author in the entire Bible.
Yeah.
That has any part of it at all. He's the only one that's known. Nobody knows who wrote the Gospels. I
know the Gospels are anonymous. Yeah. Like obviously, I don't believe like they were written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? Like I believe, yeah, because they were written like, decades after the events or whatever,
Yeah.
if I'm remembering correctly, kind of, I'm off the cusp
And
here.
Luke never met Jesus. But
Luke
he says
never met
as much.
Jesus?
Yeah, Luke never
Yeah,
met Jesus.
yeah.
And he says as much in the beginning. He says that he put together accounts, like it's not his
Yeah.
own experience.
Right. No, that is true. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was like firsthand accounts or something he was getting from so yeah, those could be a little sus, obviously, but the whole point, like the message is still there though, right? Like, so it didn't, even if I wrote it, right, if I'm still teaching them the message of Christ, like, it doesn't really matter who wrote it as long as the message is
I
there.
think the message is
What's the
horrific.
message?
You know,
Yeah, well, what is the message of Christ?
that Jesus is our Lord and Savior. Only way through heaven is through Him. Love
Well, what does Jesus say the only way to heaven is? He gets asked
Through
that
him.
quite a bit.
through Him.
No, he gives a different answer than that. Like the young ruler, for example, asked him, he says, "Good teacher, what do I have to do to gain eternal life?" What does Jesus say to him?
Is this the rich man or?
Yeah.
Yeah, to give up all your stuff and follow Him. To give up all your
No,
worldly
that's not what he
possessions.
said. No. Well, he said that too,
He said
but
follow the
that
law.
wasn't his answer to the question. Yeah, he said he said, the commandments, keep them.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
think didn't he say that he
So
was doing
Jesus
that?
isn't saying believe in me and you get to go to heaven. He's saying you keep the commandments to go to heaven.
Right, which does
Yeah.
also
And he's
say,
also
believe
said
in me.
he
right?
also
That's the first
said
commandment,
I'm
right?
not good, only God is good, which would kind of be silly after that to say Jesus is God himself.
But Jesus wasn't calling himself God. Jesus
Right.
never said he was God.
Because he was in the human form.
Well, no,
He
he
was
said
still God
he
incarnate.
said he was
right?
the Son. Right, the Trinity is a
Right, but they're all
later-
three of the essence. They all share the essence.
Yeah, but the Trinity is a later invention,
boy.
right?
right. So the Trinity is one God that has three separate essences.
Yeah, this was not what Jesus would. It's the Trinity is not supported in the text. Like it has to be so much has to be like twisted and shaped in order to see it. I don't know how it became so popular.
Why do you
But,
think?
like-
Right? Because
But
people.
Jesus never said he was God. He said he was basically he put himself at the level of the people who were in the divine council, right, or the beings that were
Yeah,
in the
he's
divine
not-
council.
The Father, all right? That's a different essence of the one
It's
being.
not the same. It's not the same. He's not of that. Like calling it a Trinity means that they are one. It means that he is God.
Yeah, they are one, three essences.
But Jesus,
I know, it's
never
hard to
said-
it's
Jesus
a hard
never
concept
said
to
he was
grasp.
God,
It's-
though.
is it-
It's not hard. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make
it's-
sense. You
It's
say
too
that he's
logical,
100%
man. Like, you
man
have
and
to say-
100% God.
Exactly. That's 200%, man. You can't have something that's 100% black, like a car, and 100% purple. That makes no sense at all. Like, it's impossible. It's a logical contradiction.
One being three.
That also doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
That's-
I
that's
don't, I don't
less
feel like that
nonsensical.
one's that
You're
one's hard
essentially
to-
saying
wait.
1 + 1 + 1 is 1.
Yeah.
No, it's
And you get-
one
and the-
third, one
and
third,
the-
1/3 is one.
Oh,
That's
no.
only part of the problem is the math. I mean, you've
They're
got
not
Jesus
thirds,
begging God to take this burden from him. He's saying, but do your will, but not to mine. So he's clearly saying God has a different will.
Well, right,
than
he doesn't
Jesus
want to die.
does. Yeah, he says in John, I can't do anything at all without the Father. He says in every gospel that I'm not good, only God is good.
Hmm?
I mean, there's clear distinctions being made that these are obviously two separate beings, right?
They are. It's a separate of the same being. Yeah. It's a
But they
piece
don't
of
have
the
the
being.
Well,
same-
then why is Jesus praying to himself? Who's he talking to?
It's talking to the Father. Talking
Which
to
is
the
him.
Father essence.
Yeah, but
And
it's him.
Yeah.
So is he below?
He doesn't want to suffer. He doesn't want to die. He knows what's coming.
Is he below the Father?
He's not below in the sense that he's like a lower hierarchy. It's
But
he's
he
a,
prays to him. You don't pray to something that's equal to you or below
why
you.
not?
You certainly don't ask yourself
Because it
questions
can't do
about
anything.
yourself
Why not? I mean, he could. It's another part
because it
of
doesn't make any sense.
it. It's
This is you're
pray to
essentially
something
saying,
that
say
has
I'm talking
like,
about like a
authority,
hey, this
transcendent
weekend
being.
I want to go to an amusement park, right? And you're essentially saying like you decided on, let's say, Wednesday that you wanted to go to an amusement park. On Thursday, you asked yourself to remove the burden of going to an amusement park from yourself because you don't want to spend all the money and get like that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I'll use your analogy. Okay, I say, you know what? I want to go to the amusement park on Thursday. And it's Monday. Thursday comes, I'm like, man, I really don't want to go spend this money. And I talk to myself about that, and I change my mind. Is that like, how is that like?
Did you tell yourself common, you're right? Going anyway?
No, I might be like, I don't know if I want to do this, but I need a commitment to somebody. I'm going to do it, right? But
this isn't the same as having a back and forth in your head about whether it's a good idea or not. This is saying,
we all do that,
I don't want to do this, but I want me to do this, and I'm going to do this whether I want me to or not. Like, you see what it don't make any sense at all.
Where did Jesus ever send God to do something?
Never.
Right, but God sent Jesus.
Yeah, he sent one essence of him in human form to be the main sacrifice of all sins.
The Father sent Jesus.
Yeah, so the Father portion, right, sent Jesus in human form.
Right. Because Jesus is below him.
To be because it needed a godly sacrifice to wipe out all sin. If at this point they were using animal
to satisfy who?
Right? To satisfy, remove sin. So there's a way back
who made
to
the rules?
God.
Who made the rules around sin?
God, and we sin.
Right. So to
we needed
satisfy his own rules, he sent himself to die.
He sent a human blood sacrifice ritual.
That was the only way to wipe away the sins of the earth.
According to who?
It had to be a godly being.
Not according to God, it's not.
Jesus is a godly being, right? So God sent. It had to be a godly sacrifice. It couldn't.
That's not true.
Our sin is so great that it required God to send
they forgave
the portion
sin without any kind of sacrifice. Jesus himself did it.
Jesus did what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Forgave sin without any kind of sacrifice or repentance.
Right. Well, because he could do that, right? If Jesus said to you,
if he could do it, then they could do it. There is no had to be. You said it had to be this way.
Sacrifice himself to forgive stuff when he's all powerful. He'll just forgive you if he wants to.
Yeah, but those are in individual cases to do all of mankind for all the rest of eternity.
No, it's not individual. Look, in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, this is what he says. He says, if my people who are called by my name humble themselves, pray, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will heal from heaven, and I will forgive their sins and heal their land. It's saying just pray, turn from your wicked ways. If you want forgiveness, and you'll have it.
Sure, but humans continue to sin. So you need that. We need another. He could forgive you in the moment there, right? But you're still going to sin further, right? So now you have those sins. We can't go to God as sin beings. We need to be cleansed of the sin. That's what baptism is. Right. But Jesus' sacrifice was that way. Otherwise we could never go to God. We would just be annihilated.
You can if he says you can. All you got to do is pray and ask for forgiveness according to him in the Old Testament.
Yeah, this is why we needed it. We needed Jesus' sacrifice to end this sin. So we had a way to God. At that point, we had no way to God.
What is sin?
What's the word? An affront to God, like doing something that would be ungodly.
It's transgression of the law.
Yeah, I'm just off the top of my head, right? Some
sort of breaking the law.
Infraction to God. To God.
1 John 3 tells you what it is. It's transgression of the law.
Yeah, there you
go. Well, the law says if someone entices you to other gods or goes to other gods, then you have to throw rocks at them until they're unalived. That's what the law says. So if you don't do that, you are a sinner.
And you have to be the first to do it.
Sorry, just grab a drink. No. That I know that's not the case. We don't have to do that anymore because now we have a way to God through Jesus' sacrifice. There's no stoning anymore. Nobody's doing this anymore.
Jesus said you're supposed to be stoning rebellious kids.
You're in this you're stuck in this time loop.
No. Jesus said this in the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus says the law will not change until heaven and earth pass away. And far as I can tell, heaven and earth haven't passed away. So
Me having
you're still supposed to be throwing rocks at people until they're
Right.
alive.
me like going to heaven doesn't mean I have to go stone somebody, right? Like,
It
in
does.
fact, that would take
That's
me
how
away.
you get to heaven. You keep
No, that
his
would-
commands.
no,
Like
that
Jesus
would-
tells you this verbatim.
No, that would actually prevent. That would be a major sin. If most likely, probably not even get into heaven.
No, it wouldn't. You
How is doing something
in
God
Deuteronomy
ordered you to
13, you
do
are commanded
a
to
sin?
God has not ordered me to stone like anybody.
Oh, yes, he
All
has.
I needed to do. Yeah, again, you're in this like archaic, draconian little like.
I'm just
thing.
reading the book.
I'm in
man.
2026
That's what
here.
it says in the
Wait.
book. It says you must purge the evil from among you. It's not
Okay,
an option.
and yet
It
no
says you
Christian
have
does
to
that,
do
so
it.
right?
confused.
So-
Does God's morality change or not?
God's morality is no. God is unchanging.
Okay, so then when he said
boy.
this is what you're supposed to do, you're saying nah.
He's not saying to do that.
What,
I know the word.
Do you
like,
know what he said?
You read it to me.
Do you? No, nobody read it.
We didn't read that part. I can read it to you if you want.
There's more. Are we going to again? Are we just cherry picking the bad? Like,
If you don't know
I'll
what
read
it
it
is,
to
just
you.
say you
You
don't
can
know
tell
what
me
it
if I'm
is.
cherry picking it.
well, it sounds like a cherry. You're just finding like these verses that are like, oh, well, I
Oh,
don't agree with this.
well, let's see if
Therefore,
I'm
there's
cherry.
no
Well,
Jesus.
let's read it.
Like, you know,
Let's read it and see if I'm cherry picking.
No, there's no
both
Jesus
says
because
if
there's no
anyone-
God.
like if I'm saying
well-
I'm focusing on the love portions and
Cherry
I'm
picking,
ignoring the
that's
bad, you're cherry picking the bad and ignoring the good, right? So we're just kind of,
Yeah,
No,
well, because your
that's
claim
not
is that
cherry
this God,
picking.
your claim is that this is a
It is cherry
good
picking.
God. So if there's evidence to the contrary, that's what you're going to hear about.
right. And and you've made the points, but like you also have to show like that there's also good in there, the healing.
You're
What-
essentially
what's
making
the
the
good?
argument. I can make the same argument that Adolf Schmittler is good. You could say Adolf Schmittler is all loving. Yeah, he murdered 6 million people, but he built 150 hospitals and saved 500,000 lives of Germans. So that's great, right?
Obviously, not the ending of a whole genocide. That is not good.
Exactly.
Nobody's saying
how
he's
many
a loving-
genocides did God command? Even one's
I
too
don't know if
many,
you like.
isn't it?
I know there might be like genocide in the sense of like wipe out this tribe, but not maybe the entire like
That's
population.
what a
on
genocide
Earth.
is.
Yeah,
It's
they were
erasing
nations.
Right,
people
but
groups.
like I don't
Yeah.
think you ordered the elimination of every single one. It was eliminate that tribe.
No, these are nations. They're called nations.
Okay, so even the nation, even if
Yes,
even,
it literally
even if it's
says
the
don't
nation,
allow
wipe
it.
out this nation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, do not allow anything that breathes to live.
Yeah,
That's a
'cause-
quote.
So, how many?
Here, let me
genocides?
read this cherry pick anyway before we move on real quick.
Sure.
It says, if anyone secretly entices you, even if it is your brother, your father's son, or your mother's son, or your own son or daughter, or the wife you embrace, or your most intimate friend, saying, let us go serve other gods, whom neither you nor your ancestors have known, any of the gods of the peoples who are around you, whether either near you or far away from you, from one end of the earth to the other, you must not yield to or heed any such person. Show them no pity or compassion, and do not shield them, but you shall surely unalive them. Your own hand shall be the first against them to execute them, and afterward the hand of all people. Stone them to unalivement for trying to turn you away from the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Then all of Israel shall hear and be afraid, and never again do any such wickedness. So do you think I was cherry picking that?
Unless when I say cherry pick, I'm saying you're only picking out the bad of the Bible and you're not putting on any parts of the good. Now, to answer your question on like there, God is good, but he's also vengeful, right? That is a trait to God, right?
Do you think people deserve to have rocks thrown at them until they die because they want to serve another God besides Yahweh?
Nope. Nope. I'll answer your question. Nope. I do not think that is moral. Just because they believe, like I will not like go stone like a.
Do God's morals change?
They're supposed to be unchanging. God is unchanging.
So
God is love and God
according
is
to
good, but
God,
he is
you're still
vengeful.
supposed to be doing this. It's still morally good to do this if God ordered it, right?
That's okay where the stretch is because like nobody's
Oh,
doing
come on,
that.
man.
There's tons
No.
of Christians out there that are
They can't do it. It's fucking illegal.
well, right. That's what nobody's doing. You think people? Okay, so if they got rid of the law, like you you can now stone people. You think Christians are going to go out and just like stone people? Come on. Like,
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Like they have. You ever heard of the Salem witch trials?
Yeah, but it was a whole different.
You know why they were setting women on fire?
Yeah, 'cause they believe some pagan nonsense.
Because
These women are
God
witches.
says in the Bible, I will not suffer a witch
Suffer a
to
witch to
live.
live.
You are to set her on fire. They were being biblical. This is what God ordered them to do.
So again, like if we say, hey,
They were
you know,
Christians.
you can burn witches again, suddenly there's going to be a huge rise and uptick of women being burned. Like,
Do you not think that would be the case?
I would believe that there probably would be some wackos out there claiming to be Christian that would do it,
Yeah, that's the whole reason I started this channel. Is
but they're
because
not
of those
Christian.
wackos
Right? They wouldn't be
who
Christian.
are running our country right now.
Well, those people wouldn't be Christian. They'd be posers, right? They'd be posing as Christians.
They're Christian as far as the Bible's concerned. They're doing biblically accurate stuff. God doesn't
No,
say they
because
can't
they
do
can-
anything of what they're doing.
They're supposed to love and forgive and accept.
They're supposed to also conquer and
right, so we have-
take
so
more
we have,
plunders and stuff.
All right. So which rule do you think trumps the other rule? Right. Okay. So we have two conflicting answers there, right? One you're saying says you burn the witch. I'm saying you love, forgive, and accept, which is also taught in the Bible. Not specific to witches, but like, you know, to all human beings, right?
So if there's a book that says burn this witch, and the next page it says you're supposed to forgive her, what value does this book have?
I'm just showing you if we've come now to two mutually exclusive choices, right? What do you think the moral choice is? That's the Christian way. The Christian way, the moral choice. You will not burn her. You will accept and forgive.
Yeah, but the Christian way is also to burn her.
It's not the Christian way. No,
It is.
It's
No.
the-
That's what God orders you to do
Forgiveness is
if
the
there's a
Christian
witch in your midst. He says, I will not suffer a witch to live. You have to set her on fire.
and then again, I mean, I have the other end of the coin that says forgive and accept and love. Which one do you think
That's
would
what
win
I-
out in that one, right? The
Historically,
love would win out, right? Because if we were just burning everybody, we wouldn't be much of a human.
would it? Here we are 2,000 years later, and slavery only became legal, what, 150 years ago? 175 years ago?
Yeah. I'm grateful that we finally got rid of that very archaic,
Yeah, me too.
draconian,
I'm grateful
evil.
we live in a time where we finally moved past the God of this book. Yet people are still clinging to the book and trying to bring back all this stuff that the book is bad that we pretty much all agree we need to move past.
I just want to go to heaven and love all my human beings. Like, you know, I love
Why
you.
would you want
I
to be
love-
trapped in a heaven with this God, though?
I don't want to be trapped in the alternative with Satan,
Which is?
torture and bad stuff. You know, I'd rather be in the loving hands of Jesus and my families and all the people that I
So
come to
basically,
love.
you're afraid to go to hell?
Who wouldn't be?
That's how they get you.
It's, you know, to be
Convince you
permanently
I would rather
severed.
go to hell
convince
than
you you're gonna
worship this
burn,
God,
and they say we
personally.
can save you.
I don't want to be like, you know, severed from God. It's not even like hell per se, like where it's that I'm cut off from God for
Well,
eternity.
Jesus calls it eternal punishment.
Right. I don't want the eternal punishment. I'd rather have eternal bliss.
Right.
Right? And
You've
And
been
love.
convinced that the eternal punishment exists, and so now you need to buy into the whole thing. It's a scam as old as time, man.
I mean, Christians have been
they
fighting
tell you
Christians
you're
this whole
sick and sell
time.
you
I
the
mean, it's
cure.
insanity.
yeah, Christians fight Christians, but the message is always okay.
Yeah, so
you
why
would agree,
isn't there a unified Holy Spirit in all of you if that's the case? This book isn't doing any good if you can't even discern what it's talking about
okay,
properly.
but can we all agree that okay, let's say if we had similar political views, that we would have some differences on that political view. Doesn't mean that we're still not of that political view, right? Just because we have maybe some differences on some of the political views doesn't mean I'm still not that.
Do
Same
we
thing
all
with
claim to
Christian-
have the same Holy Spirit political view?
I'm just saying that there are Christians that are different than other Christians, right? They'll have different
I agree,
rules
yeah.
or different beliefs. However, the core is the same. That's what I'm trying to get to. The core is Jesus' love and forgiveness. That's so even though we might have different denominations or different beliefs or a different interpretation of a certain thing, the message and the core is the same amongst all the Christians. Same if we had the same political view, right? We would have
That
some
doesn't show
differences.
historically at all.
That
The
absolutely, there's tons of,
the biggest persecutor of Christians is other Christians.
I mean, I'll take your word on it. I don't know if that is
They
true,
are.
but it could be because again, there's just more of them, right? And yeah, there are people who are posers, and there are people who
More
are
of them. Where was that
misusing the word.
pillar of loving forgiveness that all Christians share?
They wouldn't be correct. They would not be Christians if they're not loving and forgiving, right? They would be using it as a tool to push evil agenda. If they're slaughtering other people, that's not Christian.
Yeah, but you think God's laws are evil agenda. They're just pushing God's laws, and you think they're evil.
The
They're
Ten
the ones being
Commandments is
biblically
kind of what we
accurate.
follow.
Not,
The Ten
not you.
Commandments are very clear of thou shalt not kill, right? So thou shalt not steal. So the Ten Commandments is a start. This is why I say the Christian worldviews. We can use the Ten Commandments as
My whole
as a
point
starting
here is why listen to a book that says to love your neighbor and then also says to eat your neighbor.
We don't listen.
It's just confusing. There's a better way to go
Sure.
about this than
And
this silly book. I mean,
right. So I could do good acts without being a Christian, right? Just
Yeah,
as you,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
You could do good acts as a secular humanist, right? And we would be on the same page.
Yeah.
You could also do bad acts. As a
I just
secular
do it for goodness sake. I'm not scared at all of going to heaven or hell. I don't do it for any of that. I just think you die when you're going to be dead. Yeah, I still like helping people.
Right, and so do I. It's like a big thing for me is to help people, and I've found as a Christian, you can connect with people at their lowest if they're also Christian because they see that you get it. They know what you're like, that you're basically one of them, and it's a good.
What do you mean at their
bond with
lowest?
you. Like, okay, I've taken care of like sick people like in my life, right? Like, and they're scared, right? They're near the end of their life. And for me to come in there and hold their hand and say, you know what, like, and then to speak to them about Jesus, and they resonate with that. They're like, yeah, I used to, I've been a Catholic my whole life, or I've been a Christian my whole life. And, I just never, and I sit there, I'm like, well, he's got you here, and whatever happens, happens. But no, and it gives them at least temporary peace. Okay. Like, or at least for a moment, it's like they forget their terminal illness for a second, right? And they have a little bit of peace. And I think that's a very important thing to do for somebody, right? If you can. So I'm like tearing up thinking about it. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking back of people I've helped. And,
No, I mean, I get it, but like, is a cute Jesus story the best way to do that? Like,
I mean, what else is there to do? There's nothing to do for these people. They're at the end.
you
right?
tell them the true God Marduk would never
Would it
condone
be-
owning slavery
like,
or
let's say it was
anything, and he
my-
welcomes all in
Right.
as long as they're good people.
Like, let's say I was an unbeliever, right? Let's just, for the moment, for argument's sake, let's say I was an unbeliever. And my grandmother was a heavy Christian and she was passing away. And she said to me, hey, like, I really want you to believe because I want to see you in heaven. Am I going to like lie to my grandmother and be like, Al, no, that's stupid. You believe in that. No, he's an evil God. Or at the end of her life, do I want that to be her final memory? No, I'm going to say, you know what, Grandma, I'm going to follow, I'll try to follow Jesus to give her some peace there.
So you don't follow the book and not lie.
The book is a foundation, but Christianity is way more.
Book
than
says
the book.
liars go to the lake of fires.
Yes, all humans lie. It's part of the Ten Commandments. We lie. But we could all agree there are moral lies, right?
Yeah,
Does the Bible say
that's
don't
not
lie
what's in
unless
the
it's a
Ten
moral
Commandments.
There are lies that are moral. Like, for instance, let's say I had I don't know, I can, off the top of my head, I don't know. We live in 1943, and I'm in Poland, and I have a particular group of people in my house hiding from another bad group that's trying to kill them. And they come to my door saying, do you have these people in your house? I'm going to say, no. Yes, I lied, right? But isn't that like the moral answer? Would that be better than me saying, oh, yeah, here they are, 1940. I don't know what the terms of service are, so I'm trying to be vague in my wording. I don't want to get into. So you would agree in that, say that the better and most moral decision for me would be to lie.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just don't think the Bible says that.
Right. We use the Bible as a framework, and then it stacks upon each other. We get more and more as we grow as Christians. We get more moral, and we get more love, and we get more accepting.
Oh, well, we got an actual social worker in here. Maybe they got the same opinion.
Sure.
Yep.
I don't want to take up all your time, too, but I know we've been talking for a while, so I'm fine
Well,
dropping
no,
out.
I'm apostate, and I are brothers and not Christ. So,
All right. I mean, I could chat a little bit longer, but I do got to like hop out of it a bit. But yeah, I'll stay on for a few. What's up there? Did you have something for me there, friend? I'm sorry if I say your name.
Ben, you just call me Fen. It's easier. So how you doing? So I've been listening to this for a while. And yeah, I mean, the death thing is rough. It's a rough thing, but even if somebody in your family, like I just went through this with my grandmother, because my grandmother was a Catholic. And she unalived not last December, but the December before that. And I still do rituals, even though I'm an atheist. There are some rituals that I still complete. Because I think that you can have rituals and you can have these cultural relics without the God belief. There's countless cultures that do this. And me and her shared those rituals. Even though we don't believe in the same things, you can still share other things together. So yeah, that would be my answer to your question. There are other ways you can go about dealing with death than just saying, yep, I'm a Christian just so that I can make this person happy. That's not how that works.
Well, that would just be one piece of the conversation, right? Like that wasn't like the full piece. Obviously, that would be like one thing we were talking about, right?
Right. I mean,
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean so like I do my own lives, as Apostate knows, and I also have these engaging topics, although I get into the politics as well. But my big concern with you, however, is why. So here's a big question: do you think God is? We can go to a couple of different things. Do you? The first one is: do you think God is the only God? Two. Do you think that the triumvirate God is the true God, or the ethical question, which you guys have already kind of beaten with a dead horse?
I believe he is the only God. Yes.
Can you? Do you have your Bible on you?
I don't. I don't have it on me, but
Okay.
I'll gladly write down some verses, look at it, and definitely take this to do more research on. Believe me, like I can always learn something. So this is why I like talking with the opposing side, right? Because
I'm exactly the opposing side, but we can get into that in a little bit. So if you open to 2 Kings 3, I deem this as an admission that God is not the only God, and also that God is not the only God with power. So if you want to, I'll just TLDR the entire thing. It's a smaller chapter. Basically what happens is that there's a vassal city called Moab, which we know from archaeological digs. Moab worshipped a god named Chemosh. Now, Moab, for a long time, was a vassal state of Israel and decided to leave. They said, fuck this, we don't want to be a vassal state of Israel anymore. So they left, and then a prophet of God, Gaud, went up to the king at the time and said, hey, if you invade Moab, you'll get it back. So they invade Moab, and they beat the fuck out of the Moabs. Don't get me wrong. All the way to the city gates. The Moabs got beaten over and over again. However, when they get to the city gates and the city is about to fall, the king of Moab does something. And I'm going to read exactly what it says. Give me 1 second while I get to that. When the king of Moab saw that the battle was going against him, he took with him 700 swordsmen to break through the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his firstborn son, who was to succeed him, and offered him as a burnt offering on the wall. And a great wrath came upon Israel, so they withdrew from him and returned to their own land. What this is describing, because unlike you and unlike Christians of today, the ancient Israelites did not believe that God was the only God. They thought God was amongst a council of gods, and that in this particular story, Yahweh's forces got beaten out by another deity, or at least a sacrifice to another deity.
Right. So you're saying there was at the time there was a belief in a pantheon of God potentially, and with God being like the strongest.
It depends because Yahweh wasn't deemed to be the All High until much later. The All High was actually called El, who was married to another goddess named Ashera. Yahweh was their adopted stepson, who became a part of the pantheon a little bit later. And then after a little while, El and Yahweh as deities got coalesced into one deity. All of their attributes got pushed into one.
Okay.
So, but this story specifically describes Yahweh getting beaten out by another deity.
Yeah, but the deity doesn't exist anymore, though, right? So I get what you're saying.
Can deities die?
They don't die, no, because they would obviously contradict divinity, right? They live forever.
How
right?
did Jesus die?
Well, that's a good point.
He didn't die, right? He came back to life. He was resurrected. So he didn't
How
die.
exactly? He didn't die.
Well,
I mean,
he
I'm
died in a
surprised,
human form.
Apostate, I'm surprised you haven't talked to him about the fact that Jesus didn't fulfill a single messianic prophecy.
He mentioned it. He did
Yeah.
mention it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I brought that up.
But yeah, there was a lot we were
Get
talking about.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's
But-
the big, for me, that's the biggest killer of Christianity. I could even perhaps maybe even dance around the idea that Yahweh exists, but the idea that Jesus is the Messiah is impossible.
because he didn't fulfill prophecy.
He didn't
That,
fulfill
and he was
prophecy.
never even anointed. Christ means anointed. Like Jesus was never even anointed, so he doesn't even deserve the moniker Christ.
And the biggest one for me even is that if you look at the lineage of Jesus according to, was it Luke or John? I forget which. There's a person that's mentioned in that lineage that God specifically said would never sit on the throne of Israel, of David, ever.
Oh yeah, that's Matthew. That's in Matthew 1. He's talking about Jeconiah.
Yeah, Jeconiah's line was cursed to never be on the throne of David.
Jeremiah 22, verse 30, I think.
Yeah, the genealogy is a little scuffed because it's different in Luke and Matthew, I think.
Is Jeconiah mentioned in both guys? I forget.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember that the genealogy being
Luke
slightly
actually corrects
different.
it. Yeah, it goes through Nathan.
Yeah, I remember there being like a difference. It's the same thing with like the birth, like Jesus' birth story, right? It's different in Matthew, or maybe Mark and Luke. It's like different. One of them, he flees.
Matthew and Luke, yeah.
Yeah, he flees, whereas the other one doesn't mention him fleeing. You would think that would be kind of important detail to add in both stories, right? If he fled
It
to like
would.
area like that both they would agree
Or
on.
even
it.
the other Gospels. I think if Jesus was born of immaculate conception, that would have been pretty important for Mark and John to mention, but they don't say nothing about Jesus being born like that or Bethlehem.
I would have also liked to have seen the Old Testament God say that was going to be the case. I would like to see the Old Testament God to say, hey, this Messiah I'm going to send you, he's going to be born of virgin, and he's not going to actually do anything when he comes to you the first time, but when he comes back, he's going to do it all. That would have been important.
It's surprise. It's me,
Right.
God.
Yeah, somebody told me a joke once. Like I was talking to an atheist friend of mine. He was like, it's been like over 2,000 years. I think Jesus stood you up.
I mean, according to Jesus, he stood you up.
Yeah, because he said, like in the Bible, doesn't it say the people who were alive at the time see him like
Many times? Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus told them that. Yeah.
like that he would therefore come within a lifetime or at least a generation of sorts, right? And since that didn't happen, right, he.
And did you know that there's two sects of Christianity that have attempted to fix this problem? So they're the first.
I'm an Orthodox Christian. So I was a non-denominational, and then I kind of transitioned to Orthodoxy Christian. So I'm only kind of really familiar with like their tenets
So
and
one
not so much
sect,
the others.
one sect of Christians say that Jesus did come back in 70 AD, and we're in the time of 1,000 years after Jesus' reign. That Jesus' second coming already occurred.
I have heard something like that. Yeah, maybe not that exact story you're talking about, but that does ring a bell now that you're saying that.
And then the second one is the Mormons. I think it's the Mormons believe that Paul is still alive and walking around, and that's how they fulfill that issue.
Yeah. Well, I have a whole the Mormons. They're an interesting bunch.
So, but one thing that I really wanted to bring up when you were talking about the ethical issue is that, so you're like, you keep on saying like, well, look at these amazing things that Christ practiced, but we don't want to look at the rest of these bad things. That sounds like really culty behavior to me, where if we look at all these cults, they even religions that you would heavily disagree with, for example, a cult can be like, yeah, we have this leader who does amazing things for people. Yeah, he's a little weird with the women. But he does all these great things. So why don't you follow our cult leader? And it's like, well, because he does all of these horrible things. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can see where you get like the culty. My ex-wife used to say that. She'd be like, it's such a cult you believe in and stuff, because she wasn't a Christian, right? Like, so we didn't, yeah. She was serious, sometimes semi-serious, but like, it's a cult. And I'm like, it's not a cult. Like, I get like it has similar elements to a cult. I'll give you that for sure. But there's no cult leader here.
Lots
like
of parallels
abusing,
there.
right?
Yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
we're not
You
having
could
like
definitely
Jesus,
call
the cult leader, is not, doing horrible things to people, right? Like, he's in heaven watching over us. He's his praise. So it's
Well,
a
yeah,
little.
but all of his.
So I don't think it's completely
Well, here
analogous.
we can figure out if you're in a cult right now. Is there anything we can show you in this book or religion that you would drop it?
I mean, like I said, I've read the book, and and there's things that I struggle with.
Is there
for sure.
anything at all we could bring you to make you
Maybe not
realize
necessarily
this
in
is
the
false?
book, because there's problems
Anything
with
at all
it.
is what I'm asking you.
Anything at all? There's probably some way, yeah, that I could be convinced.
What if
otherwise.
God
Can
said?
you tell us one?
Let me try to think of something here, because obviously, if he showed himself to me, well, then that would prove that.
Well,
he
if you
was
can't
there,
come up with nothing, you're definitely in a cult.
yeah.
What if God said that He was going to have women raped specifically?
I would believe that's not God. The question is incoherent. Because
What if He
it's
said
against nature.
He
Yeah, that
did
never
it?
bothered me as much as you think it's going to.
What if He said He's doing it specifically? I am doing this.
God himself is going to harm women?
Yes, He said I am doing it. Yes.
I would not believe that was God. I would believe it was like some demon or something posing as God.
But what if it says it's God doing
Yeah,
it?
it says God, I am doing.
Demons
this.
can lie, right? I mean, so, just like you said about the
Did
four.
demons lie in the Bible?
Demons lie, yes.
Where?
So they wrote some of the Bible.
No, they didn't write some of the Bible. They're saying like the demons are, a fallen of beings, right? So it's not a big leap to say
we're
that
saying the book literally says God is commanding rape and baby murder.
No, I'm not even saying that. I have second Samuel where it says God specifically says I am doing the graping. I am going to be doing the wife taking.
All right. So this is probably
if you're going to go down this path, you're going to come into a problem, because then how can we trust that anything that is in the Bible wasn't inspired by demons?
True.
Like, we could just say Jesus was a demon then.
Yeah, we could say, like, I could make an argument that, hey, these bad portions of the Bible you were talking about, maybe the man writing the words were corrupted at some point by demons.
Yeah, so Jesus was a
Yeah,
demon.
but earlier you said God wrote this book.
I'm just like coming up with like, I don't believe this. I'm just saying, like, that, like, if you're saying if God's saying he's a demon, or whatever, it could be a demon in this who then corrupted the writers, right? And maybe some of this bad stuff got in there. I don't think so, because I think that would have been heavily corrected by God if that was the case. That's why I don't believe it. But I'm just saying, right? That is an option. Again, I'm just hypothetical situation.
Damn it,
I believe that. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just trying to think of something, right, that I could, try to explain. If God appeared to me and says, "Hey, I am God, and I'm going to go harm women," I would say, you are not God.
Well, what if the book says the Lord struck an innocent baby and unalived it, and the Lord gave 10 women up to be raped?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't have an answer for you for that.
Do we want to go over it real quick?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he's denying it says that.
Yeah, no, and I believe it's definitely in there. It's that there's lots of passages I definitely take great trepidation with. Right?
Now, how are you getting over this horrible shit that you know is evil?
Because I guess
in service of this God. Like, I just don't get it. Like, unless it's just fear based. Like, are you just scared?
Yeah, there's some fear in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I would say the default.
I get it. When
love.
I was a kid, I had the living bejesus scared out of me.
Sure.
With who?
Well, so yes, as did I. And then, and then I kind of fell away from religion as I was growing up. But then when I was like in my early 20s, I was like, I'm an adult now. I can actually make I can make an actual choice to follow.
That's what I left the faith. Yeah.
Yeah. Because as a kid, right? Like, yeah, you kind of, told what you're told, right? Like, and as I got older, I was like, was I really a Christian? Because like, I feel like I was, I didn't really make it in an age of reason, or where I had some sort of like, understanding of the consequences and what this religion's about. And so as I got to an adult, I was like, I'm going to go do this. So in my church, I swore my life to Christ, kind of like again publicly to then I got baptized and got
Why are
welcomed
you
in.
keeping it there? We need more atheisms, and we like you, and we want you. So we need to figure something out to get you to join Team Atheisms today.
What do you think?
What do we got to do? Show us, tell us, show us you're not in a
I
cult.
mean, you've
Give
made
us
some good
something we can
points. I
do,
gotta
man.
say,
Come
like
on,
you've
man.
definitely made some good points. You've weakened me a little bit. I have to pray on this, of course. And
You're gonna ask this awful God what to do about this?
I'm gonna be like, hey, like,
God, what do I
these,
do with all these babies you had bashed to pieces and women you had raped? Lord, enlighten me here. Like, how do I get over this? Like,
I'll tell you exactly
is that gonna be what you ask him?
I'm going to paraphrase this, obviously, because I'm not like in prayer mode, but I probably say Lord, I spoke with some gentlemen today online. They rehashed
Heathens. You spoke with
issues
some
that
heathens, yeah.
I would say like,
heathens.
oh yeah,
One fan.
I talked. Well,
Well, his heathen too. Never mind.
But I talked to these men, and they brought up concerns that I had in the past that we spoke about.
Throwing your
God.
pagan under the bus. I see how it is.
Wait, what happened?
I'm speaking as a Christian right now, which is, but
I'm just trying to tell you, like what would I pray? I'm kind of giving you like.
Sorry, dog. I didn't mean it like that.
No, you're cool. Yeah, that's kind of what my prayer would be. It would be like, hey, I talked to these gentlemen. They brought up issues that I
don't
brought
mean
up
it like
before,
Christians,
and show me like how do I strengthen my faith? How would I get this faith strengthened up? Because they're bringing up the same issues I brought up before with you in the past, and I never got solid answers. How guide me on how I can bring them to you? Like, how can I get them to follow you, God? That would probably be something like what my prayer would be.
So, you mean us follow God?
Yes, I would love to see you all come.
Oh yeah, no, that ain't
Well,
happening.
to be completely honest and fair, I've had what you would describe as a divine revelation, and it wasn't from you or God. So I don't know how that would work. But the other thing that I would like to say is that, like, one of the other things that Christians kind of weird me out about is that in almost every other faith that I have encountered, even Judaism, if there's a rabbi that goes around the circles in these lives called Rabbi Hannah, and she is of the opinion that God is an asshole, that he does do horrible shit. But this is the God that her people and her bloodline made a covenant with, that she is bound to. As a pagan, if I found out that my God that I venerate was like, hey, eating babies, that's a good fucking time. Do more of that. I would throw my middle finger up at that deity and turn my back on them.
Sure.
Why is it that Christians are like, oh, well,
I know. We're wishy-washy on it. It's hard questions to answer because there's no good answer.
That's what makes it look cultish, for real.
Right. There's no good answer.
Y'all are like, hey, Christians don't murder babies, and you'd be like, well, this God does it all the time, and y'all are like, that's just God doing God stuff,
And you also made that argument earlier that Christians don't want to do this anymore. There's an up and coming mag hat right now who is getting more and more popular, who's during his live streams is going, slavery is good because God said so we should be doing it. What would be your argument against that individual?
False Christian.
How?
While he may be using the biblical tools like to support his thing, he's also ignoring the moral and ethics of such a claim, right?
Where in the Bible does it say that slavery is wrong?
It doesn't say it's wrong.
Okay. So, here's a big question then. Specifically, it says that you can enslave the heathen around you and own them forever in Leviticus 25. So if the Israelites decided to suddenly enslave all the Gazans, was there anything that you could argue against them in terms of the Bible?
Yeah, it's tough because the Bible, does not like. It would make it so much easier if there was this one sentence that say, "Do not own your fellow humans."
It's almost like
property,
I bet
right?
you could persuade them to do it with the Bible, though.
Yeah, I mean, I could use the Bible and to probably persuade people to do a lot of like evil, wicked acts.
Yeah, exactly. You could persuade the
test,
evil,
right?
but you can't argue against it.
But maybe
the book.
that's
I
the
mean,
test.
that ought to tell
Maybe
you
it's
a
in there.
whole lot right there. That was a great Christian.
Sure, but maybe it's the test, right? Maybe it's in there as
The
a
test.
hey, It's like, hey, don't. These are the things I want to see. Which of my followers are going to follow these evil things, and which ones are going to follow the really loving, true.
Jesus
Christ
said he's going to, or I mean, God said he's going to send false prophets to test you to see if you'll stop keeping his laws. And if Jesus came around and said, stop keeping the laws, he's a false prophet that God is testing you with. But Jesus never said, don't keep the laws. That's Paul.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean,
Paul's the false
Paul's
prophet,
kind of like the, quote unquote, like, I guess, lack of a better term, father of Christianity, right? Sort of. He kind of.
Yeah, but he's the one you actually worship and agree with. He's the one that got you out of keeping God's horrible laws.
I mean, if we believe that
Jesus didn't do that. You should be worshiping Paul and not Jesus. Paul is the light of the world for real.
I don't necessarily worship Paul, but obviously I would like trust his word since he came firsthand from Christ, right? Like,
yeah, but his word's going against what Jesus says, though. He's in contradiction with Jesus.
I would say Paul's letters are like the 2.0 version, right? We got the it's
2.0
love
2.0 version of God.
Like, it's like it's the love. I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws at this point. I have nothing.
I mean, if you want to talk about evil laws, God Himself said that He gave evil laws, but He still wanted them.
Bro,
to
we
be
want
followed.
you as an atheist. We need this new atheist out here, especially good.
Like, yeah. I mean, you've definitely cornered me. I have no way out of these things. You're absolutely right on a lot of these things, and that's why I wanted to definitely pray on it because
that's why you're going to make one of the best atheists there possibly is. Like,
I don't know, man.
No, I'll make him a pagan yet. Don't worry about it. I got him. I'll call him.
Hey, we'll take that. We'll call that a W. If you leave the Abrahamic religion, W. That's it.
Can I just ask one last question before I go? Like, what are these little, like, this is completely off the topic. I'm old and I don't know anything about TikTok. I just, like, my daughter showed it to me and I saw there's debates. What are these, like, little circles above my name? Like, what is that? Like, you see how there's, like, a circle and I got a 6 next to, I don't know. Yeah, there's, like, a little icon.
That's money people have given you. Those are gifts.
Yep.
No, I'm giving
now.
the money to you. I'm not taking the money.
No. That's being given to you, dog. Because
I'm sending it your
W
way.
in, whether you know it or not. You're a big old fat fucking W right now.
Oh, true.
I don't. Okay, well, I don't. Yeah, because I see.
Look at you.
Max
You get in the shower, dog. They're making it rain on you. Atheists get all the money. Or that and
okay. Well, I don't want to take money.
Never just the Christians in the congregation in the stands.
Like, is it?
Look at him going. They're gonna buy you a Dr. Pepper later, dog.
Okay. I don't know how much money it is, so like I don't.
It's not a lot, but
Okay. Okay. Again,
yeah,
I'm
but
very
it's
new
going
to TikTok.
up. That's a cent each. That's 44 cents.
Okay. I'm very new to TikTok. I don't know like anything about it. I'm an old man.
Shit, they're making it rain on you.
I'm lucky that I found
like
how to unmute
slavery,
myself.
dog.
Yeah.
They're throwing pennies at you. Look at you go.
Hey, it's okay. I'll take it. It's better than stones, right?
Yeah,
No,
they ain't listening to God throwing rocks at you. We throwing money on this side, which is better. Which is better.
So. I would love to talk with you again someday. If I see, if I follow you, does it tell me when you go live or anything like that? Or,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'll even throw you a follow back because you're all right with me, buddy. I almost never do that.
No. Again, I really appreciate you being kind with me. You definitely give it a lot to think of, and I'll definitely take it to heart. And I appreciate you being kind.
We appreciate you not admitting that baby bashing and grape is okay. So we love you, dog. Big W there.
And Jax, just to let you know, I go live, but I take the night shift. I'm a nocturnal being, so I doubt you'll ever see me live. But give me a follow, and if you're up late at night with these questions, I'm around.
I may be because sometimes I'm a fellow insomniac. I worked midnights for a long time, and I never recovered.
Nice.
So, how do I follow you?
There's a little plus next to my name.
That's a future atheist right there. That's right, Tris. They're all calling you a future
You're helping
atheist.
an old man through this technology. I suck. By the way, your tats are badass. I gotta say, okay, in a totally good way. I love them. I really like them.
God don't like them, but I do.
I like art on people, and I always find like I would love to hear the story.
You don't like nothing God likes. You're great.
Yeah, he doesn't like tattoos. I got one on my arm. My daughter. It's one of my daughter's drawings, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Remember, every time that you do Christmas, you're keeping my faith alive. Just let you know.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Again, you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for the talk. I know I took up a lot of your time. I am so sorry. So
it was a good
no worries,
conversation.
Jax. We got all day for deconverts, dog. I'll sit here and talk to you as long as I can.
I got to head back to work, but thanks, gentlemen. I'll talk to you guys possibly again. I'll let you know where I'm at.
Hey, I'm on here every day, man. Every morning.
All right. You be safe.
Have a good one, buddy. I'll drop you back here. Yes, this is day 89 in a row, and that was a great conversation. I'm whittling away even at the crazy people, because that dude that was here with for like a freaking hour with Dr. Josh earlier, that guy's usually crazy. Like, I've usually kicked him 30 minutes a minute in, or 30 seconds a minute in, every single time so far. So we're making changes in the world, I think. Seems like it anyway. I mean, the crazy guy seemed to calm down, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, guys, if y'all ain't following Fenrishon, check out some pagan heathen shit for real. Like,
Pagan heathen shit, that's right.
Hell
Although
yeah.
most pagans don't consider me a pagan, so you know it's a wild world out there.
It is a wild world. Technically, I guess, like, biblically, pagan just meant anybody. It was kind of like a Gentile, just anybody but Christians, basically. Except, well, a Gentile would have been anybody but the Israelites. But in the same regard, pagans were everybody but the Christians, basically. That's why I said I called you that from the Christian perspective earlier, and then apologize.
No, I love it. Don't worry about that.
Oh, that's fucking funny though. But anyway, guys, I'm about to go ahead and actually, I think I am. Let me make sure. Well, it got whittled down a little bit, but there are some people in the guest queue. And I'm way too close. I don't think we could have a meaningful dialogue at this point. But guys, we had an awesome panel today. We had the Dr. Joshua Boeing, our best friend of the channel. We also had Mac, the Mac Daddy of Daddy Macs right there. And the pagan heathen of all pagan heathens. Fenrishon.
The atheist.
Y'all check him out. The atheist pagan heathen. He's everything. He's all that.
Yeah.
He's like God.
I'm just standing on that fence, just doing fucking cartwheels on it.
Hell yeah. I'm going to turn a backflip up there with you. I'll be a pagan too. What the hell? I'll be an atheist pagan. It'll be great.
I mean, it's a growing movement even within the Christians that there are like atheist Christians that they keep they just keep all the like cultural relics that they like. They still go to church, they still do the baptisms and all that, but they just don't believe that God exists or that Jesus actually was the Son of God. It's a growing thing because people want to keep the culture, but they don't want to.
Yeah, I actually get it. Yeah, I get it. Have you met a Christian witch yet?
Yeah, yes, I have. I actually used to be.
Where the hell did they come from?
So this was when I was an angsty teenager. That I was a Christian witch. Because I believe that I took that.
You were one.
Yeah, I basically believe that Christ saying that with the faith of a mustard seed that you can move mountains. And in my thought process back then was that there's this type of magic that you can access that Jesus had that you can also access. That was basically my belief back then.
Interesting. Well, I know there is like magic stuff like that especially in the Old Testament. Do either one of y'all follow the Esoterica channel? He's read some Hebrew magic stuff before. It was insanely interesting.
The mysticism from the Jewish, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Rabbi Hanna might be able to get more in depth of that. I don't know too much about.
Oh yeah, that's a good. I wonder about. That's curious. Esoterica's got some really cool shit on Hebrew magic, dark magic, and light magic, blessings and curses. Like, it was really literal shit back then.
There was a whole supernatural episode based off of that, where a Jewish rabbi made a golem that they had to deal with.
Wow, that's neat.
And actually,
I might have to go check that out now.
It's their anti-schmatzi episode, because there were schmatzis that were trying to figure out how to make golems.
I think my wife used to watch that show. I never got into it that much. Even though I think it ran for like 20 fucking years, it seems like, if I remember right. Ain't there like 20, 30 seasons of that show?
Let me look that up. How many seasons?
I want to say this. I remember that one running forever. It went longer than Friends did.
15 seasons.
Dang, that's pretty dang far. I know it was a long time, though. I know they had a lot of seasons of that show. Because my wife watched a lot. But anyway, guys and girls and heathens and Christians and pagans and whoever else is out there, this was day 89 in the books, and I'll be back tomorrow for day number 90. 3 stinking months of doing this shit straight now. Ain't that crazy?
Pasta, you gotta stay up.
So,
You gotta stay up one night and join us in our late night debauchery.
well, I might wake up early one morning. I usually fall asleep. I'm usually up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but I usually go to sleep pretty early, like sometimes 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It just depends. But sometimes I just randomly wake up at like midnight, and that's usually the only time I play video games and shit. So yeah, if I wake up, I'll check you out, man.
All right, man. All right, you have a good one, brother.
Be super neat. Back at you, buddy. Mac, also, you take it easy, my man, and we'll see you
man.
back tomorrow if you're around, dog.
All right. See you later, man.
Might can even run even longer tomorrow. But anyway, guys, much love. Does anybody know anybody we can go raid? Who's on right now?
Xena.
Xena. Raid Xena. Xena. Ape raid on Xena. Let's go hit her up. All right, guys. Y'all take it easy. Much love, and we will catch y'all in the morning. Later.